We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers. We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
Oh yeah, dude. There's some Nephilim. It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us modern-day slaves. And everybody's just walking around, head in the clouds and won't awaken to a dead in the grave. But then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of days.
Everybody is slaves, only some are aware that the government releasing poison in the...
Okay, no more talking.
Everybody shut up.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Nephilim Death Squad. I am David Lee Corbo, a.k.a. The Raven. That is TopLobsta, the father of disinformation. And we are back in the building. We never went anywhere. This is literally, it's the same building with another episode. Guys, I don't know how we should do this. I mean, let's get through the Patreon struggle first. How about that?
Okay. We'll do this.
Sometime around the 30-minute mark, we're going to go live exclusively to patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad. If you want to continue watching this episode, gaining early access to episodes, early access to Bohemian Grove tickets, and discount codes off of merchandise from TopLobsta.com, patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad is where you want to be. Dude, I'm wearing that one right now. The Nephilim Death Squad youth group.
Very nice.
Summer camp. That is
I'm
a banger of a shirt.
TopLobsta's
Nobody
dog
cares
man.
what you're wearing. Okay. And let me tell you why. Because this one matches my sneakers. And if you look at my sneakers right here,
Hurtful.
look at my sneakers and then look at my shirt and it don't.
his match too.
We have guests in the house.
Guys, joining us once again. We just did an episode with Bryan of Demon Erasers. He is back. And we are also joined by Al Marinelli. They do. He also matches. This is going to be a really fun episode.
This dude too.
Wow. We're just a couple of matchy. All of us are just, we look so good.
Bryan of Demon Erasers. We didn't pull your your website up last time. So here you go. But we did get your logo in the background. So that's pretty cool.
How cool is that?
Bryan of Demon Erasers. Go tell the people about
what happens on Demon Erasers. What is it? DemonErasers.com?
You can find my channels there and listen to me talk a whole lot.
Very cool.
And you can sign up if you go to the bottom of the page. You can right there. You can sign up, and I pray for you, or my people pray for you.
That's so cool.
This is the sign up form for free.
He literally does pray for people, and it was powerful.
I heard about that.
We'll get into Al in a second, but like, again, we covered on the last show, but you were basically like, hey guys, what's your problems? They were kind of like explaining, and you just like, you told him, this is what I think you should do. And after he was done, he goes, that's all the Lord has told me to tell you.
And it's all the Lord has put on my heart to tell you.
And then he goes, let us pray. And they prayed. And I was like, that was powerful.
I love it. He called me up after that and he was like, and the whole time I was just going, dude, that's so cool. That's so cool. Really it's so cool. We are also joined by Al. Al has been with us for a while now. He recorded the Bohemian Grove 3 footage. He also was there when we went down and checked out the well. By the way, worth mentioning, Joe Gilberti has now been sentenced to 15 years in prison, and it is a absolute disaster. But Joe is the guy that was trying to get the water from the well to the people here in Sarasota, Florida, and things have not, got in the direction that we wanted to. But Al is he's been working with us, and he has been helping us to film everything that we've been doing. Al, tell them the audience a little bit about what it is you do.
I usually hired a camera guy. Worked on a lot of documentaries here and there. Nothing like this, like usually like science or medical.
House hunters, right? I don't know if you're under an NDA. You're not allowed to say that. House hunters.
It doesn't matter. Shoot a lot of house hunters, stuff like that. But yeah.
Very, very happy to have you out. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about some of your experiences. So we just got finished doing this episode and it was heavy about the Charlie Kirk thing. We're going to shift gears a little bit. And we're going to talk about something a little bit different. And this is, I guess, going to kind of serve as a Chronicles episode. But before we even get into,
we were trying to do a Chronicles episode last episode, but it just turned. Like,
it just wasn't going to happen.
Couldn't. Yeah, I was at one point. I was going to say to Bryan, I was like, "Hey, do you want to read a listener email?" And I was just like, "It's just not like this is like we're going deep."
Yeah. Well, before we get into any of that, a very important thing that we have to do real quick.
What do we got to do?
Nancy, say hi.
Oh, Nancy's here. Yeah, forgot. Is she on stage? Hi,
There she
Nancy.
is. There she is. There's Nancy,
My
guys.
sweet Nancy.
So Al, early in meeting you, you shared a bit of a story with us. Really, a story isn't fair because it sounds like a single individual happening.
I just threw it out there. You guys are walking by, and I was like, "Hey."
By the way,
Yeah.
well, before we started this episode, you were saying that as you've looked at what happened to you, and you then look back at your life in hindsight, you kind of get this feeling that everything is kind of connected in one way or another.
I think so. Which I think that happens to a lot of people. Like, they go through your life and these little things happen, and then you get to a point and you look back and you're like, "Whoa, that's a lot of stuff happened in my life."
Yeah.
Self-inflicted things included, but
I think most of them are kind of self-inflicted. Just because when we talk about the spiritual realm, it's like you end up giving consent one way or another to something that ends up, I guess, having not full rights, but some rights to interact with you. So you were
before that, let me cut you. Like,
go ahead.
Have you guys seen the new Nosferatu movie?
No, I didn't watch it because I thought that it was we were watching stuff last night and I saw it came up in the queue and I go, isn't this just like for chicks because chicks are always like, how do I put this? There's like a book the other day I saw and it was like a minotaur loving on a woman and it's a romance novel for a woman. And I go, ladies, what's going on here?
Is this more Nephilim?
So I thought that it was Nosferatu was just like women going, look at this gangly
the very
man.
first scene in the movie like lays out the whole thing. The girl's face comes in out of the black and she's like wishing for or praying for any entity, guardian angel, celestial spirit, or anything to come to me.
Whoa.
And she's walking out and then all of a sudden you hear you and it attaches to her. And I think a lot of people do things like that.
That's 100% how it works.
And then they don't even know what they're doing. And then the rest of the movie
did you do
and then the rest of the movie she's banging Nosferatu, no? Yeah. Come on, man. What is
in the
that?
astral or something like that?
Oh my God. I don't know. That's something that women, you guys got to do a lot of asking yourself why that keeps popping up. So you that's a good place to start it. And I think maybe an additional node worth mentioning there is you were big into kind of the Rogan-sphere, right?
Not huge into it, but I listen to it a lot. Yeah.
Right. And so on this show, we talk quite a bit about Rogan, and he introduces into the general public a lot of things that are really strange, end up having a lot of association with intelligence community programs, right? He's introducing the float tank, the sensory deprivation tanks. These are a John C. Lilly psychically communicating with dolphins kind of a deal. He's also introducing psychedelics into the West in a way that it's as big as it was during the actual psychedelics movement all those decades ago. There was a resurgence and it's created by Joe Rogan. And of course, psychedelics play a integral role in all of this MKULTRA stuff. So Rogan has a lot of things that he tells individuals to do, and a lot of them are for the betterment of their life. But then if you scrutinize certain details, you go, why is that in there? Why is that thing in there? Real Rye or Die.
So very funny.
By the way, Real Rye or Die gave us our gold backs, and tomorrow
Yes.
we're going to be at an event, and we're going to be interviewing. Hopefully,
Tomorrow we may or may
tomorrow
not
we're going to be at an
an
event, and we're going to be interviewing the guy who runs the company who makes gold backs. So I've been thinking about you a lot, Real Rye. Hope you're doing well. So tell us about how you were into this Rogan thing, and what did it lead you to be
where does
interested
the
in?
I wouldn't
story
call
start?
it being into Rogan.
You were super into the Rogan
Super
thing,
into
right?
Rogan. Everything I did revolved. No, it's like I said before. It's like a lot of the stuff could be self-inflicted.
Sure.
I did listen to it a lot. And I liked it, and it was at the time where the world was going shutting down, things were crazy, and there was a lot of good stuff on there. But at the same time, like you said, you get exposed to ideas and things like that, and you may be like, oh, I want to do that, or I want to see what's going on over there.
Mhm.
Rogan, man, it reminds me when I was driving a truck. The only reason I didn't do it was because of like health violations or what do they call that, where you can't be if you pop dirty on a drug test, like I had a safety sensitive position.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Rogan had me this close to trying mushrooms.
Yeah.
Because I had the same questions that I think I've answered since, where it's like one of the questions that I wanted to ask was like, if I go into this trip with a specific question, will I get the answer I'm looking for? The answer I was looking for was
my
like,
language right there. That's exactly what I
That's
did.
interesting.
it's something I'm still fascinated with, and something I'm going to be doing a deep dive on. Guys, check it out soon. on frequency, pitch, vibration,
Very
how
nice.
it relates to color, perfect pitch, things like that. So, but he had me this close to doing it, and I backed off.
He got me. I did him.
I don't
You
think
did
they
'em?
can detect mushrooms. I knew guys that were in the Navy that did mushrooms. And they did that because they couldn't be detected.
Oh, so look at that.
I'm
You
an
missed
idiot.
out on it for no reason.
Missed out.
You didn't get psyoped into doing mushrooms for any good reason.
Well, because I can't read probably.
That's probably it. Yeah, I did them. I did 5 dried grams. And I had a very interesting trip. And what I will say in hindsight is that most of it was based off of having a thought or an inquiry and then rapidly getting the answer to that thought or inquiry. And I realize now that that was obviously from the spiritual realm, because it was outside of my own consciousness. I would have a thought. I'd say, why is a thing like this? Or why do human beings behave the way that they do? And then almost instantly I would get this answer that would hit me like an epiphany. And I didn't give much thought to it. Bryan, what do you think we're dealing with?
How come you haven't continued to do it?
I felt no desire after that one time. So I did this 5 dried grams of mushrooms that one time, had this experience that was admittedly manageable. It wasn't the harrowing roller coaster experience that you would have expected to have had. And when I say manageable, I was holding conversations with people who had no idea that I was on mushrooms. But afterwards, I had no desire to engage in it again. But like I said, it's only hindsight where I stop and I ask the question. Yeah, I guess you kind of answer it in a stupid way. You go like, well, it's the universe. It's the universe that's giving me those answers. You know what I mean? Because I recognize that it was external to my own psychology. But I never really scrutinized the source of it. I just kind of dismissed it as like the universe giving me these answers. This is before I was Christian or anything like that.
You didn't see any shapes or anything.
What I saw was the ground heaving and contracting as if it was breathing. I had visual acuity about me. So like we were driving down the highway and I was able to spot deer coming out of the wood line way ahead of the driver. Little things like that. And then I started to learn that mushroom usage, microdosing, which became very popular, was associated with visual acuity. And then there's this kind of peripheral knowledge of like tribesmen may have used this in order to become more apt hunters or scavengers, or not scavengers, hunter-gatherers.
So when the first time you do a drug, oftentimes there is no effect. So it's, most people that do mushrooms for the first time, nothing. Most people that do weed for the first time, nothing. There's an interview with Danny Trejo. Have you seen the interview, Danny Trejo talking about Charlie or Charles Manson?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, you need to watch it. Charles Manson and Danny Trejo. He's talking about him. He's not with it. Okay. And he's saying in this interview, just look up Danny Trejo, Charles Manson, hypnosis. So Danny Trejo talks about when he goes to prison, he's actually in prison with Charles Manson. And he said Charles Manson was a skinny, scrawny guy. And so he befriends him with the people in his crew to like protect him because he was getting like beat up on. And then they figured out Charlie could hypnotize people. And Charlie hypnotized everybody in the room to be on heroin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I remember this story.
Yeah. And so he hypnotizes them to be on heroin. And so they're like getting loaded on weed and heroin the whole time they're in jail without any weed or heroin. They are being hypnotized.
I was going to ask that he hypnotized them to be like the effects of
heroin. And so he said, Danny was like, I knew it was on heroin because my eyes would turn red and then I'd throw up. And he said, like, every time we would throw up and like we'd be loaded on heroin the whole time he was in prison with Charles Manson doing it to him. Wow. So the funny thing is, though, he mentions a very interesting part. He goes, one of the guys, Charles Manson, couldn't do it to. And Danny goes, why can't you do it to that guy?
Heterochromia.
Charles Manson said, hey, why can't you do it to him? And Charles Manson's response was, well, because he's never done it. He's never done it, so he doesn't know. His mind doesn't know how to work, is what Danny Trejo says.
That pathway is not opened.
Exactly, but that's not true. The reason why that he can't do it is because he hasn't evoked the demon. Once you do the ritual, you've partaken in that spiritual ritual, then the demon is present. It can have authority over your life, but until you've done the ritual, the demon doesn't have authority over you. You haven't burned the offering to it. You haven't smoked it. You haven't you ingested the demonic spirit. Okay. I mean, mushrooms grow out of poop. They grow out of rot and decay.
Yeah.
And you're consuming this thing from the realm of the dead. Okay. It's bringing you into a spiritual place. Yeah. You know, a lot of people do mushrooms. They realize the spiritual world is real. I have a friend that was atheist till he did mushrooms. And then all of a sudden he's like, bro, I think the spiritual world's real. I don't know what it is, but it's real. You know, like,
yeah.
It's like, okay, so like the mushrooms are the spiritual realm. There's people that have simultaneous trips. They do mushrooms together and they see and experience the same things.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And there's people that see entities, the same entities, okay, and when they're together in some instances. And so this is a spiritual realm you're going to, okay, but it is a violation of God's order. You're going there through this rotten decay method of consuming this disgust. Okay, you are violating into the spiritual realm. So you're unprotected a lot of times when you go to this realm. So it's not a good place. There was another kid that used to do mushrooms, who became a Christian, did the mushrooms after being a Christian for a while. And he said he had the worst trip ever. He said the demons were real. They were not just like, had he remembered, they came in and they took him, they said, before the throne room of God, and they threw him at God's feet and said, he ate from the table of the dead. We can do what we want with him. And God had to say, no, I'm protecting him. But like, bro, they said we could do what we want.
Well, that's it though. They thought that they had a right, right? Because you have done a thing that is granted consent. Yes.
This is that recent, the recent episode of Miracle where he's, whoever was on, I mean, again, the dude was kind of like a Zionist, but he did bring up a very good point about the person who had a demon and the demon was cast out and he allowed them back in, and now he's like, the demons come back sevenfold.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That can happen.
That door has been opened wide now, and he's like, it would have been better for this guy to have just had the regular demon than.
Well, yeah, because if you piss them off, and you piss off demons, bro, go cast them out. You're gonna piss them off, especially if you're gonna try to live back into their realm.
Yeah.
When you just casted them, killed their buddies, knocked them out, sent them to the abyss. You come back and hang out in their party. They're like, oh, you want to be in our party? Oh,
Yeah. Jonathan just asked a question that's interesting. Is the consumption of mushrooms a form of necromancy?
I mean, I'm sure they were used in necromantic practices, but I don't know. I mean, it does fall. I'm sure there's methods where like they grow out of the dead children's bodies and they use those mushrooms for rituals. I mean, this is where the Smurf comes from.
What? Wait.
The Smurfs, like concept. I mean, it was literally that children would die and they would turn blue in the snow, and they would find the dead children after a blizzard happened, or the dead people, and they would be blue and have mushrooms growing out of them. And so this is actually like some of the origins of the Smurfs.
I never liked the Smurfs.
I never liked the Smurfs.
He's a warlock, right? The guy,
the Jewish guy.
Yeah, Gargamel.
The Gargamel. I thought he's got a nose.
This is a Christian show, David.
I'm just saying, it was an observation.
I'm so glad he's here this time. I mean,
dude,
I didn't know you were going to be here this time. It's like
Bryan has the best information.
That's right. Al,
well, I just want to say as an aside, because we're talking about, engaging with this demonic realm, that story that I always tell about the berserkers from the bank situation. In the 90s in LA, those guys, they were engaging with berserker spirits, and they use mushrooms to do that. So kind of people look at like mushrooms as like this, like one of the safer psychedelics or something like that. It's weird how they've gotten that notion, I guess, because they're, natural. That's not like LSD that's been created.
Not as addictive, I'd say. And the stories,
because it's super spiritual.
Yeah, I didn't feel any kind of addiction aspect of it. I didn't want to do. It was exhausting, really. But what I'm saying is, these guys were using mushrooms to enter that spiritual realm, to become possessed by a berserker spirit, which would make them unbelievably formidable in combat.
Many ways to get to the same spot.
Seems to be
right?
Seems to be the case.
Yeah, and the when you do the mushroom, the first time you do the ritual, it won't affect you. Same thing with weed. The first time you smoke weed, a lot of times it does nothing to you, and that's because you evoked the spirit. You first have to evoke it, and then the second time you do it, you commit the ritual, you finish it. And so it's a two-part ritual a lot of times. And then once you've burned the offering to the entity after the second time, then it starts to really have its effect over you, because now you knew the first time, you didn't know. God has grace on you.
I see,
and
Al is kind of like flinching over there. What?
Well, I'll tell you. And the second time, you've now committed. And here's the thing: the more spiritually in tune you will become when you try to do weed, the harder and the more anxiety you'll get. The more your spirit turns on, because the spirit, when you're feeling the spirit of weed, when you burn it, you smoke the weed, like that entity entering you, that's the entity. That is the feeling. That's the sensation that entity gives you. And when you become spiritually aware and you burn that offering to the demon, it's terrified. It's like it shows up, but it's like knows that it's not supposed to be there. And it project anxiety onto you. So that's why some people smoke weed, they get anxiety, and some people like it. Bro, if you like the weed, it's usually because your spirit is in a dull place. But the more you become spiritually aware, the more anxiety you'll get, because the demon will start to be afraid. It'll be terrified.
Wow.
I've gotten to the point where I don't smoke anymore because
it does make you very paranoid.
It's not just the paranoia. Well, certainly it makes me not want to talk to anybody. So I want to like draw inward.
That makes you not want to talk to
yeah, it's already, you know me, so it's already hard enough for me to deal with this.
Setting.
Yeah, but it becomes exacerbated to the extent that I will choose simply not to. I will go, no, I'm not going to go out and leave my cave and go talk to people. But the other thing is the strange happenings or whatever, the kind of demonic presences, they get dialed up. And I know that correlation has been shown to me so many times that I'm like, guess I can't do that anymore. If I want to sleep, can't do that anymore. So Al, where does this go wrong for you? What are you doing where you go, this is,
this is the third time. This is the charm.
That's interesting.
And it's just like what he was saying. I don't know if you want me to just get
yeah. Let's get into it.
The whole thing. I was listening at the same time, a lot of podcasts at the time. I had a lot of time because my job entailed traveling all over the place, and then traveling was just shut down.
Yeah.
So I was just home, listening to podcasts, doing a thing, watching a lot of Ancient Aliens, which I still like. I don't believe that the giant spaceship came down and taught everybody things, but you learn stuff from that show, like where things are or what things are.
Yeah, like what strange megalithic structures exist.
Yeah,
out
and
there.
It's super interesting, but it'll get you into that. But that'll bring you into that point of like, the pineal gland. You see those Anunnaki carvings and the statues holding the pine cone into the tree of life, and you're like, what is that all about? Let me check that out.
And
What's
then here
that
comes
bag
David
for?
Wilcock.
What's that thing?
Yeah.
And dude, I just got way deep into it. I was digging deep into it to a point where I figured it out. Like, I know what's going on. Like, this is what happened.
Baby.
These guys did something and to us, and that's why we're here. But I don't think that anymore.
Shout out Billy Carson. Shout out Billy Carson, everybody. Moment of silence for Billy Carson. So by the way, Rogan was big on that. This showing you like the pine cone symbolism. And
they're all big on that. I mean, he showed it a lot, but I got into like everything, like all the Von Daniken books, all the whatever's of the gods books, all the Anunnaki books. They talk, like Graham Hancock stuff. They all talk about it. They all look for it. Even Ancient Aliens and stuff. They have a whole episodes on that stuff.
Yeah.
So I dove into that stuff myself. But yeah, hearing about the more of the DMT realm and stuff like that, because I've done mushrooms and LSD and stuff when I was younger, but just in a party atmosphere. Like, I was never like, I'm gonna trip and see this. It was just like somebody had it and they're like, here, eat this, and boom.
Yeah.
If you do it with an intent, it's totally different.
Yeah.
If you're doing it for the sake of doing it, the Lord has grace on you. But when you're doing it when you know better, and when you're doing it with an intent, it is a totally different experience. That's why certain people do drugs once and they go crazy. It's because they knew better. They knew and they did it anyways. There's a judgment that befalls people that's different when your heart is in a place where you understand. You know what I mean?
That's specifically why. That's why I haven't done mushrooms, because like, especially at this point, and what I always tell the people in the show, they're like, oh, you're anti-mushrooms. Like, I mean, I know that they work. It's not that I'm anti, it's just that
you know better.
Yeah. Like, you're open. It's a doorway.
Yeah.
It's like, but the question is, where are you at spiritually? Where are you at mentally? Where are you at physically? I don't know. I know where I'm at physically, spiritually, mentally. So like, if I open up a doorway and the things that I know, the things that we talk about constantly, that's on the other side waiting.
That's the bad. That's like walking into the bad guys' headquarters. Oh, hey, you've been pissing us off, and you want to come to our party?
That's interesting. Like, that might be why things went so peacefully for me, is because at that point I was earnestly seeking the truth, but just hadn't been exposed to, like, once I was exposed to really just the idea of like the Nephilim and everything, and I said, that's an aspect of the Bible that I've not heard about before. You kind of get the westernized, reductive version of Christianity that passes by you when you're not. I wasn't raised in the church or anything like that. So I had a peripheral knowledge of it. It was very watered down. And it just didn't seem to. It seemed much more to me that Christianity was like a control mechanism of some sort, and that maybe there was some truth to the Bible, but given the overlap between Christianity and all these other religions, who knows where to start, was basically like my thinking. And then once I got information that said, look at this, I looked at it and I never looked back. But at that time, I was just kind of like pursuing the truth and understanding and stuff. And I think because of that, it wasn't like I had ever been shown anything about Jesus or about Christianity that was obviously true to me, and I chose to ignore it. That hadn't happened yet in my life at all. It was only later on that I was shown things that I was like, that's really hard to look away from.
That's why God had grace on you.
I think so, because I had like just a really, I mean, it was a lot of mushrooms. And
Yeah, that's a lot.
yeah, and I just had like, I had a very manageable experience. And like I said, I never went back and did it again. And I wouldn't, I haven't recommended to anybody to do them, but it was strange how manageable it was.
So what happens next? You're into the podcast,
Yeah, I'm listening
Rogan-sphere.
to all that stuff. I'm listening, and then during that time, like there was more than Joe Rogan talking about DMT on podcasts. There's a lot of people talking. He talked about experiences that he had, and then other people talked about that. And then he had Rick Strassman on there with the Spirit Molecule book, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I read the book. What they don't tell you when they're on the podcast is like part of the book is like guys who they put on the DMT with the IV drip.
Yeah,
and people think they can handle it, and they come in there, and I think that's what you were talking about with like, if you go in there thinking you're gonna do something a certain way, and he had this one guy who came in there and did the whole thing and never came back again, and he saw the guy later on. And he's like, oh, why haven't you come back? And he's like, well, I went in there and I was tripping and it was getting raped by alligator men.
Oh,
like,
wow.
They don't tell you about those experiences, like
raped by alligator men.
Yeah. I didn't do it justice, but like that's basically what the story of the guy told.
I mean, you've piqued my interest.
Yeah,
that's the story, the title of my first book.
For me,
alligator men.
For me, I was like looking around at this stuff and being like, oh, it's like, why don't I try this? I've done other psychedelics in the past. And what the difference is going to get you there like that. And I got questions about life at this point. I'm looking into all these weird things, and I'm looking into things as like someone who didn't know anything, I'm looking at like,
you're innocent.
I'm innocent. Someone's talking about John B. I don't know it's John DeSalvo until I write it down and look it up later and look up Enochian calls, and then I look at the alphabet and I'm like, oh, this is demonic. I can see it. Like it just looks that way.
Enochian text. Yeah, that's the first Ouija board, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the Enochian board. Yeah. So yeah.
But anyway, I'm doing that.
So you're dabbling in the occult, but you don't know. This brings up what we were talking about on the previous episode, where it's like with Charlie Kirk, we were saying, well, how much did he actually consent to this? How much did he agree? If there was a selling of the soul, or like, I'm not saying that you did that, but like there are varying levels of consent that we are constantly doing.
Yeah.
And we don't know.
Well, I think it's very rare that they get it all at once.
And it's weird. And you see the symbols and you see, like I said, the statues and the pine cones and stuff like that. You're like, that's weird. And you hear about pine cone, pineal gland. You start looking at like, Eastern stuff. You start looking at like Hindu things and the chakras and like, so, I'm starting to do these different meditations. Like I'm waking up in the morning, like when it's still dark, when I've just woken up and doing a meditation. And then I'm finding out about like the Monroe stuff like that. So I'm going on YouTube, I'm getting all the Monroe stuff and I'm doing that, when I have time too. And then at night, I'm trying to astral project. I'm trying to have OBEs. I'm doing it all at the same time.
You're just
because
flinging all
like
the doors and windows open.
Like, I don't know. Like,
you didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm just,
Al, to your credit too, it's like, once we live in a materialist realm, and the version of Christianity that we get traditionally in the West is very watered down, and you have a profound spiritual experience, and there's not very many places to turn to, especially because science will dismiss you. Well, that's not real. It's a hallucination. It's a machination of your own mind. And then you find things that have elements of your experience, like Eastern mysticism that's showing you pineal glands and all this stuff. And you're like, there's something here. And so it is, we quote him endlessly, and it's probably agitating for the audience, but that whole Tucker Carlson line, which, do with him what you will, don't follow any kind of men. I think that Tucker Carlson is a shady character, but when he said that we were, we didn't understand the spiritual realm, that our understanding had been removed here in the West, he's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And that leaves you lost in the woods. and then you have these things to latch onto.
Well, I know when it stopped, I was never turned away. I was like, I'm not into the church. But as I got older, I was like a Darwin guy, or I was like, I'm agnostic. I know there's something, but I don't know what it is, And I remember like I was like 14 and we were in Long Island, and I used to go to church with my mom every Sunday. She went all the time. And my mom had like a tough time growing up and stuff. She had a lot of things happen. But I remember the time when we stopped going. We went to church, and she would always like move things off to go. And we did the whole thing. We got out, we got in the car, and she turned the key to go home, and the battery just exploded.
Oh,
right. And she was like, every time I go to church, something happens. Something happens this, something happens there. It's something happens every time. This is it. I'm not going anymore. She's like, every time I go, something happens.
As
and
demons.
that they got it.
That was the last time. That was the last time I went to church, unless it was a wedding or a baptism.
They did a big high five after that.
Blap. Got him.
Got him. Demons always want to interfere whenever you're going in the right direction towards them. In fact, it's a good sign that you're headed in the right direction. When you start to see the demonic interference start to happen around you, it's pretty obvious. Like, demons don't want this to happen. Like I see it all the time.
But that's the way I say. You look back in the past and you're like, oh man,
that makes sense.
This is what happened with every time we did Bohemian Grove.
Oh my God.
The second time worse than the first. First time my dog died, a whole bunch of other. Second time, a lot of other crazy things happened, but like I think we were more equipped the second time because they're like, oh, I expect it to happen. I think now going into the fourth one, sorry, this is the second and third time, but going into the fourth one, if we're gonna do it, I'm like expecting it, but I'm weighing the cost, which is like David kept asking me. He was, because it's like it's great, like we get to bring community together, these people enjoy it, it's a fun time.
Especially, I think the first day is going to be different. Like the first day, we plan on starting off with a Bible study. Yeah. And it's like that sets a different tone for this entire event, because you can feel we've got momentum of this really gigantic thing that we're building, but it could get pulled in the wrong direction.
Easily.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a big changer.
But
I'm sorry, go on.
It's a matter of just like weighing the cost. Like, do I want to do this thing? Because it's like, it's not about monetary price, but there's a heavy cost to the actions that you're going to do, especially if they're in the right direction.
All that's not even crossing my mind.
He's just
I'm
doing.
I'm just looking. I'm like, this is cool.
Go.
But I start doing all the other stuff, and I'm getting results.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking every time I look at a clock, and I know this stuff people are like, that's stupid, but I'm seeing angel numbers every time. 111, 222, 333, 555, and I'm like, how come every single time I look at the clock, it's there? It has never happened to me before. I had a friend when I was growing up who was like, oh, we see 11:11. I'm like, that's stupid. You're just looking at the clock at 11:11.
Yeah.
But then when it happens so much, and just recently, like just a week ago, not even, I had a dream where I was wrestling a out of my friend's hand, and I woke up afterwards. I was like, oh, you're not doing that. And I woke up, hit my phone to see what time it was. 3:33. I'm like, how is that happening? It's weird.
Yeah, I go back and forth with the whole angel numbers thing. I think that word angel numbers is like a goofy word.
It is. The whole thing is goofy, but when you see it happening all the time, it's like, what's going on?
I'll tell you what it is. God is omnipresent. He's in us. He's in you. He's in me. He's around us. We don't need schedules. Who does need schedules? Demons. Demons need schedules. They are not omnipresent. They run off of numbers. Angel numbers.
They say demon time in rap music.
Oh yeah. It is.
Wait, what? They say what?
They say demon time. It's really weird. Like they'll just say that. You know how they like, like they just make noises as the music's going. One of the things they'll say is like demon time. They'll just say that. And it's not really specific to any one rapper. They say it a lot, and it's like it's time to do the music. But I sound so old. But it's time to do the rap, the hip hop, boys and girls. It's
gonna pull our pants down.
Just sag those pants.
That's how it works. Demons do work off schedules, and they literally go. They travel within our society through time, so they are tethered in time in a lot of ways. So you'll anything associated with demonic is scheduled.
But I'm getting everything. Like I'm going out. I have a fire pit in my backyard. I'm going out at night, and I'm like lighting a fire, and I'm just staring at the sky. I'm learning the constellations. I'm learning this. I'm seeing satellites. The more I go out there, and the more I'm like, I want to see something. I'm seeing more stuff. So I start constantly seeing this one kind of I'm like, it's a satellite. It looks like it has like a mirror on one side or something. So it just like blips on and off and on and off. And I've never seen that before. And then all during this time, I'm seeing that same thing all the time. It turns on, turns off, turns on, goes off, moves like a satellite, but just turns on and off, and it's since I stopped doing all that, I don't see that one anymore. I still go out and like hang out outside, but I don't see that anymore. And then I was seeing other things. I was like, just go outside and like, just show me something. And within like 30 seconds, I'd see like a comet go by, or like a flash, like way off in the distance in the sky. And I'm like, this is something's happening.
There's a dude that does that, and he's like, and there was like a video of him. They like filmed him, and he was like, "Oh, I can make UFOs appear."
Is it the black guy
that?
on the beach? Yeah.
That's like the what's the Bledsoe guy too, right?
Stephen Greer, he's got that CE5 app that like now when you look at it, it is binaural beats that he's using to.
What was the story with Symbolic Studies? The guy that just recently on.
What was the story with him?
He was basically calling those things in as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, and
like really close.
Yeah, I think he had one like appear in his house, like an orb appear in his house, and it moved through him.
Yeah,
and then I think he came to the conclusion that he's like, these things are not, on the up and up. I forget exactly how that. It was like a fever dream because I was in that really expensive studio.
Yeah,
I had to pay $180 to go to that studio.
They saw you coming.
Boy, that was the next thing I saw though. It was during lockdowns or whatever, it was that New Year's Eve, I think 2020 to 2021. So same thing, sitting out by the fire pit. My neighborhood's going nuts with fireworks because people are just pent up. Like they're going crazy.
Long Island, you said?
This is in Florida. This is
okay.
So we're sitting, I got pretty high hedges around my yard. So I'm sitting there and there's fireworks going off. And all of a sudden on the side of the hedge, there's like a 9-foot hedge, this orange ball and I know this sounds crazy. This orange ball just comes over the top of the hedge and just floats over the house. Keeps going. And, I'm thinking at first, maybe it's a firework thing like that, but it's not, man. It just keeps going over the house, goes over to the next house, floats up, keeps going, and then goes into the clouds. And I'm like, the whole time I'm got my hand on my phone. Like you think you would record it, but I'm like, what is that?
Well, you're locked on.
I'm locked on.
Dude, this would happen to me. I saw,
that's right. Yeah.
Right outside on that porch. It was the middle of the day too. And I called you. I don't know why I didn't. The thing came out, it made a turn, and then it just shoots back.
Dude, it was like a volleyball size orange ball, and just.
This was in the distance, but it did it a number of times. The same exact movement each time, and it was like a metallic object in the sky this way. And not once did I say I'm going to record that. Yeah. I looked, and then when it left, I was like, "There's no way it's going to come back," and it did it like 4 times.
You never in those moments. You're usually so enraptured by the experience that it's too tough to try to record it.
I thought at that same time, I'm like, maybe it's the fireworks, maybe because I'm watching these weird things. So like maybe something came in to look at the fireworks. What is this? I don't know. I'm just grabbing at straws. But I'm like, on 4th of July, I'm gonna look again. I'm gonna make sure I stop and look again and see something. So 8 months later, 4th of July is happening. I'm out in the street with my kids lighting off little fireworks, and the neighbors there, and the neighbors, their dad's there. So I'm like, okay, I get this feeling like, okay, it's time. So I just step away from everybody else. I was like, I'll be right back. I walk into my yard. This time I get my phone out and I look up, and I was like, I don't see anything. And then boom, I see this little tiny red dot start coming. It's real small. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and goes down. I'm recording it. I got it. I was meant to send it to you guys. I'll send it to you after. But it comes down, it sits in the middle of the sky, and then just turns red, like more red, and just starts slowly drifting off to the south. And I was like, that was it. Like,
that's weird.
It's so weird because I got a feeling of like, okay, it's time to go look at the sky.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I backed up and looked up at the sky, and boom, something came out.
I don't know if these things are like what they are, and I don't make any jumps about their nature, but I also kind of just like leave them alone. Like before we started this show, your dad was talking to us, and I happened to look at his watch, and it was 2:22, but it wasn't just 2:22. I looked at it when the seconds, because he's got a digital readout, were at 00. So it's literally, it had just turned, and then they went 1, 2. So at the stroke of 2:22 on his watch, I looked at it and I saw 2:22, and I said, that's interesting.
It's kind of a violation to look at another man's watch.
Is it really? I was checking his watch.
It's like you looked at his butthole.
I was like, that's a nice watch, dude. So I looked at the watch. I thought about it, but I kind of dismiss it because I'm like, doesn't matter to me. Before this show, I prayed up, and I'm saying, to God, if it just that we do His will, and that this reaches people who need to hear it, and all that stuff. So that's already covered. I don't need a 22233 whatever. But then I look over, and the very first thing I see after that is you got some snacks in your closet, and for whatever reason, the side of the box says this will be big. So I see that, and I file that away under it doesn't even matter, because I already prayed up. I already talked to God, and I just moved on. This episode is brought to you by K2. Shout out to the Spice Boys. But, I don't know what to do with those numbers. Because I go back and forth. I hear things about their demonic. I hear things that they're angelic communications. I literally, because of that, put no anything in them. I notice them and I go file it away under keep it pushing.
Yes,
you know?
the number 33. When I'm hanging out with David specifically, that number comes up all the time. And it's one of those things where I go, okay. And then I just try to like, we just move on. But it's like, I see you. I see whatever it is. I'm not going to like start doing astrology and basing my life around this, but I'm like, notice that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I do with the clock now. If I see it, I'm like, I see it.
It's not even that I filed away and notice it. It's been noticed. I couldn't help the notice it part. Something is like petitioning for my attention. But I go like, I already
apparently demons, Brian.
You guys think about it like this right now. Like if you lived the way the Lord intended us to live in nature, would there be numbers popping up?
Touche. That's a great point. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, there wouldn't be. So that's like everything that you're seeing it on is something that was, you know, created by man and distortion of some kind. So like trying to like, you know, connect the meaning of the significance, I promise you, is demonic because you're not, you know, the Lord will sometimes, I've seen the Lord use numbers in significant situations when people are not listening to him. I've seen that happen. So I've seen the Lord, like, it's almost like last ditch effort. God's like, all you're going to freaking pay attention to is colors or numbers. Here you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Like God can use
children.
whatever. Yeah. You know, but like what you're doing is you're seeking for a sign. And the Bible says a perverse generation seeks for a sign. You're doing what is called divination. It means to divine an answer or a meaning.
There you go. Look, Z-Man says, bro, there's 33 branches on this tree, right? Like you're searching for it. And you know, to that point, you know what it kind of leads to, Brian? It leads to people being like, I got to look into this gematria. And I got to figure out like, oh, well, if that's what it is and the elites are doing this on this day at this time, then maybe I can do this at this day and this time. Maybe I can bend, you know, reality to my will. It's like, no, it's not your will.
That's how you get signed up for $1,500 a month on a Gary the Numbers guy.
Dude, exactly.
I know somebody that was very high in the occult, and they were in a band, okay, and they had a very popular band that they were successful at, and whenever they would watch the news, this guy told me, he was like, they would watch the news, they would get the signals from events that were happening on the news, and then the band leader would come back and be like, okay, I know when we have to release our next song. It has to be on this date, at this time, at this thing, and we have to add this many words to our song. And they would do, and that's how they would make their songs.
You know who else does that?
So many times.
Schizophrenics.
Yeah, sure.
Literally, I'm very serious. Schizophrenics are obsessed with like the numbers of it all, and it's like, because demons are whispering to you. Before we go any further, we gotta kick out the pores. Guys, you got 42 minutes of a show. If you want to continue watching this show, Patreon. Bunch of other perks. Otherwise, give it some time, and the episode will release in its
just
entirety.
Feels disrespectful.
It
to
is
do
very
it
disrespectful
by people.
That's
to
right.
do it in front of it. Like when Al and Brian are here, I'm like, I don't know if I like
to do it in front of them. It feels like we're showing them our buttholes.
Like watch how it's like watch how we snuff our fan base as I click them off.
Watch how we goodbye. It's just shooting them.
I'm gonna delete that there. Bye.
So all right, let's get back to it, Al. Where do you want to pick it up in regards to
that
this?
makes sense of what he's saying. It's like it travels through man-made things, clocks and things like that. If you look at all of those shows like Twin Peaks and like Stranger Things and stuff like that,
it's
all
always
those always goes through electricity. Yep. And I have something like that towards the end.
By the way,
our boy Jerry, right? I mean,
Marzinski, that's right. And also, you watch these paranormal movies. What time do they always wake up? And it's on the digital clock. It's 3:30 in the morning.
I mean, Frank Sinatra was 3:11 in the Manchurian Candidate that we just went
That's
through.
right.
Which is I mean, I guess it's close enough or significant enough.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that there is like something about numbers in the nature of this realm, but they are twisting it. And really for mankind, it's like once you notice this thing and once you think it's a viable means going forward, absolute power corrupts absolutely. You're going to Gary the numbers guy yourself into threatening to kill people during.
Don't worry, Brian. We figured out he's too.
That's right. He is.
I'll tell you right now that with the most demon possessed individuals I deal with, all of them are obsessed with numbers.
Yeah.
Like every single. So when I deal with somebody and they're like the most, like all the schizophrenic individuals, all the people that hear voices, all the people that are in like heavily inundated with demonic influences in their life, they're always like, but the numbers.
Yeah.
They're always talking about the numbers every time.
Let me tell you something. I, as somebody who is probably, I have a proclivity. There's things that follow me around and they're just not good, right? I come from like a whole dark thing, and I think that I'm getting better all the time. But
did Matt ask Bryan if he had demons in front of him?
He 100% did ask it. He said Raven's in the room, but he's not in the room. But I can feel that pull, that temptation, and I thank God, because of the people that I'm interacting with and the experiences that I've had. I've realized numerology is not the way to go. But they try to get me because they're like, you're the most important number. Right. That's because if you do the whole numerology thing, you all are assigned a number. You're the most important number. By all means, I should be a numerology influencer.
They do that with Trump as well. Trump's name, actually, I heard literally telling Trump in a video.
You have the best numbers.
Yeah,
the best numbers.
Nobody's ever seen numbers like it.
Yeah.
I've literally seen this.
But it's a temptation thing. It's like, look, here's your number. You're special. That's a big part of it too. So yeah, man, stay away from the whole numerology thing. I always tell people, it's like, if you believe in God and God has a plan and you're praying to be in his plan, to do his bidding, to be a good servant, what on earth do you have to worry about manipulating the aspects of your reality where you got to do things on a certain date, or you got to do things that, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You pray to God to be in alignment with his will, the end, and you're taken care of. What better plan is it than his?
It's a pull when you see that stuff though. Like if you're not thinking in that term, like when you start to see all those numbers and stuff like that. I'm not saying like following and doing geometry.
No, but
like
it's fascinating.
But if you walk by a clock every time and you're like 222, like 333, you're like, God, there it is again. Like
I get
talking
the appeal.
It's crazy.
It's what you're looking for as well. You're specifically looking for answers, and you're getting these little hints and signals. So
same thing with going outside and seeing the stuff in the sky. Like every time I go, I saw one time like 3 satellites I thought were coming, and they just split off like an Atari symbol. Like, I was like,
man,
what the hell's that?
Yeah,
and that when you see things like that, you're like, that's cool. And I mean, naively, I'm like, oh, thank you for showing me that.
Well, of course, because once again, materialistic paradigm. We're told spirituality doesn't exist conventionally, and then all of a sudden here is something profound happening right before your eyes. Where are you supposed to go for answers? But by the way, that Stephen Greer thing, when he's doing that CE5 stuff, people that do that also poltergeist activity. Somebody in the chat said sleep paralysis after their experience with mushrooms, they had sleep paralysis. So you'll get all that stuff. You'll get alien abduction phenomenon, poltergeist activity in your household. You'll get orbs. You'll get sleep paralysis. All the above will suddenly start happening.
I was wanting it, not being possessed by demons, but I was wanting experiences like that. That's like I was getting, going to sleep. I would do like, okay, tonight I'm gonna have a lucid dream. I'm gonna do the whole thing. I'm gonna do the breaths. I'm gonna relax my body. I'm gonna just totally turn to water.
Right.
And then I remember I was doing it one time, and I was just about falling asleep, and I was like, I can't really relax all the way. And then it felt like something just leaned into me, and then said, you got to read between the lines, and then blew in my face. And I just was like, I just felt like I turned into water. Like I just like felt I melted into the bed.
Got to read between the lines. What do you mean?
What do you think it meant?
It's a demon.
You got to look at the numbers,
100%.
the numbers on the clock, the numbers on the thing. But that was when I was like, wow,
this you got to read between the lines.
Exactly. You wake up and you do like, it was crazy.
They want you to be in that space of questioning your reality and questioning what's going on. Because
wrapped up in mystery.
Yeah, you're wrapped up in that thing. That's when you begin to channel. That's actually how you channel. And so like, that's why they tell you like, practice in yoga, like clear your mind, or just be like, focus on one thing until it becomes nothing. That's the process of channeling. And like, and another thing, again, electricity, Elohim.
I love it.
Electricity. It's power. The entities are power. They're forms of power, and they are a negative power, if you will. And they utilize these type of electrical kind of experiences. So, but yeah, when you were saying that, like straight up, dude, read between the lines. Like what's between the lines of anything? It's nothingness. That's what's between.
No, you know what it is? It's like this amorphous crap that's open to interpretation. Because once you get rid of the context of anything, then it means everything.
Exactly.
Whatever they want it to mean. Man,
Let me just say, I love the electricity. It's always, Bryan always brings something where I'm like, damn, man.
Yeah.
It's right.
But anyway, I'm doing more of this stuff, and I'm like trying to lucid dream all the time, and I'm having some success at it. And at the same time, listening to different podcasts and different things about DMT, and I'm like, man, I'm never gonna go buy DMT from someone. So it's just not gonna happen.
That's a sketchy thing. Like having a weed dealer is one thing. Having a DMT dealer, like I don't know what that guy looks like.
But I'm reading other things that say, I'm reading
Sorry,
other things.
Bryan,
It's,
that's not
it's super
nice.
easy to make it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember when I was younger, I went on this whole thing. It was supposed to be able to make it out of tall grass, like river reed, a phalaris, I think it's called, or
No,
something
you
like
can
that.
just order the root and make it yourself. That's what I did.
Wow.
I just found which one it was and found it. I don't want to say it, but you know, it was super easy.
I know a guy that does it too. Yeah.
Yep. I bought it. I delivered it right to my house. I was like, boom. And at that time, I'm getting into the Book of Enoch. I'm looking at the extra biblical stuff. And dude, okay, I'm in my kitchen.
That's interesting. They taught the cutting of roots. This guy's like, I got roots.
That's
dog.
it. That's it. I'm in my kitchen. I got this coffee grinder, right? I'm chopping up the roots, and it's right when I'm doing it, it gets to the part of the Book of Enoch. I'm listening to it. It says the cutting of roots, and I'm like, I'm cutting roots right now.
Wow.
This guy's looking at the
Like,
roots. He's looking at his
dude.
Black Rifle
It
coffee.
happened
He's
right
going,
at
Joe
the
Rogan.
That's the
Did
Lord.
you stop?
Right there. That's
Or
the Lord.
Did you keep going?
I did.
You just kept
Because I
going.
didn't know.
Love it.
Well, yeah, I mean that's not great. I mean that should be
That's
an anchor
what-
point, a nudge
But
for
that's
hindsight.
what I'm telling you. That's why I'm saying it, because like the stuff comes to you. Is like, you know,
So
the
you
signs
just-
are right there.
You just kept going though.
I
Yeah, of
felt
course.
weird. I felt
Okay,
weird.
this is what-
on
this
it.
is
What do you mean you
call-
felt weird? Tell me about that
No,
feeling.
this is what we on the show call dangerously retarded.
That is
Yeah.
100%. Yes, dangerous
Here, right here.
retards. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks,
But,
Al. No, Nancy,
taking
don't
notes.
take notes.
Well, your spirit was being warned in that moment. So, like,
Yeah.
what was happening was the Lord was actually giving you a grace moment and warning you.
Yeah.
Mm.
This is the type, these are the moments that you are brought into judgment. Like, and like people, you have moments like this where you go, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is wrong. This is bad. What I'm doing. And you know it in that moment.
And he just hits the
those are-
button on the grinder.
Yep. And those are the, well, that's the thing. We try to nudge them off and we go forward, but that's what you dirty your soul. That's
Yeah.
how you
But then
actually
you have, you know,
get numb to it.
Every
thoughts
time
in
you
your head
masturbate.
going.
Just saying.
Every
Hey,
time
You
you
justify
Being
it. You
real,
justify
dog.
with
you-
logic.
Yeah, you're like, oh well, this is an extra canonical book. This isn't even part of the Bible.
Yeah,
What
they
is this?
omitted
You
this.
know, like-
What do the
Yeah, yeah.
Ethiopians know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I get it.
So
We got to master the blacks, as we figured that
That's
out.
right.
before
Or
the
it's
show.
just crushing the blacks.
It's a computer camera term.
That's right.
Okay.
So okay. So you're warned.
You get like
You go no.
It tells you stop, and you're like, you don't even know.
And you go,
about-
this is extra canonical, and then so you succeed then at making DMT,
oh yeah,
and what is it? It's you made a powder.
Yep.
Okay, and you put it into your crack pipe.
allegedly I made.
Allegedly made it. Yeah.
No, I just put it. I just made it, and then I shelved it.
You
Hmm.
shelved it.
I was like, at some time I'll probably do this.
Yeah, because it's not always like those mushrooms that I had sat on them for a really long time.
That's what I did. Somebody gave me them, and I left them there. And I'm like,
I think that's what most
don't know.
people do when they're given drugs. The first time they'll like hold on to them and they'll keep them.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just something about it. Like every time
Well, because you go, it's not convenient. I'm gonna be gone for 7 hours.
I had a lot of excuses why not to do it, but I had a bunch. They were just like wrapped in plastic, and I'd look at them, and eventually I was like, just do it. Same thing with the weed that I had.
Yeah.
I think I told you, Bryan, maybe after one of the other shows that we did when I was doing Tower Gang, I would sometimes smoke because it'll like loosen you up a little bit. For me at least, is how it worked. Like it would let me be a little more creative and say things that like my brain would initially be like, wait, don't say.
So the demons are whispering jokes to you.
But you need it like to do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I needed that. So that's what I would do sometimes. And we read a Chronicles episode, a Chronicles email from somebody. I don't know if you saw this one. And the guy was saying that he quit cold turkey, wouldn't do drugs anymore. But then he started to get into some edibles, and he mentioned like briefly, like, oh, I did it Wednesday nights, you know. And then eventually throughout the email, he's like, so at 9/11, Wednesday night,
When Tower Gang comes on.
yeah, I go to grab my edible. He's like, real sad that the show's over. And I'm like, it's funny because I don't really know what the other guys that everyone's remote, anyone else is doing, but I'm like, that's what I was doing. And through this medium, how I'm talking to these people right now, that was coming out, that spirit.
Yep.
And these people wanted to take part in it to vibrate the same way I was.
Even to the extent where that
Wow.
guy was sober from everything, but then was like, and then I started taking edibles and watching Tower Gang. And it's like, damn, so this guy kind of, mastered that aspect of his life, but then cracked it open again to sit down and hang out with you.
I made it like alluring enough because that's the problem. We're having fun. It's comedy. And it is fun. It's comedy. And I love those guys, but I'm like, what was I influencing people?
And
to
when
do?
I would watch, I would always watch with a drink.
Mm.
Always watch with a drink. And
That's
and
Cole. That was Cole's thing.
Yeah.
There was a guy that drank for sure.
He was always drooling from the corners of his mouth, and his eyes were red, and they would go wall-eyed.
Yep.
That's what Cole looked like. And even on I never would get inebriated at all before a show, because like I said, if I smoked, it would make me not want to talk to anybody. And if I was drunk, my brain wouldn't function that well. And I wanted to be sharp, so I would never do it. But when I went on Tower Gang, I would have a drink. So even when I went on Tower Gang, it was the one time where I would break that rule and go, yeah, I know I'm in a performing aspect or whatever, occupancy, whatever, but I'm going to have a drink.
Yeah, honestly, for that show, I was doing sort of what I'm doing now. So I'm like performing, producing, and it's a hard show to produce. There's a lot going on. It's like things always moving. There's videos coming up. It's crazy. And it's stupid to do what I'm doing now and then be like, I'm going to get inebriated.
I'm going to make this harder.
I'm going to make this harder to do. Is like, there's no reason to do it. But like the edge was like, I understand what it's going to lend me.
Yeah.
And in a sense, I kind of relate that to whatever remember when we had Cyprian on?
Yeah.
And I had told him, like, I prophesied. Weird. I told him, I was like, hey, if it just feels like whatever, this TopLobsta guy is going to die. It's painful. But I feel like he's leaving, like, or like that, because that's not really me. This is just like for Tower Gang, it was a thing I presented, right? It's like this character, this online character that people are like, oh, well, you must really be like that, go and say for me now. It's like
you're Sasha Fierce.
Yeah, but in a sense, it's kind of that's kind of what it became.
Well, never an entity that was the character that you embody is the demon.
Yeah,
it's forming its identity over you.
Right.
So yeah.
It's kind of crazy though.
I think I know what he looked like too. He looked like that card where it's like,
the guy coming,
lobster, and he's,
do we have it?
Probably somewhere hanging out around here. Yeah, wow. I mean, it's what I will say. It's odd. We have stories like Al's, and then we have conversations with people who have insight like Bryan, and then you mash these things together through Chronicles and through NDS, and I'll be damned if it's not God being like, here you go. You need a really clear mirror as to what you're doing. So there's so much that we've shed.
And he gives you a really nice off ramp, one that seems kind of harsh at first, but it's like, that's the only way. That was the only way to do it, because I would have never done it myself, Yeah. Although I did like I said, if you go back and watch that episode with Cyprian, I did it was a prophecy. I had spoke that, and then boom. It was like,
you prophesy over yourself all the time. People just don't realize it.
Yeah,
they say things,
good or bad things.
Yep, good and bad. And you don't even you got to be so cautious with the words you say. People it says blessings and cursings out of the same mouth. This, my brethren, ought not be. It says the power to speak life and death is in the tongue, and those that master it eat the fruit thereof. The power to speak life and death. So you may prophesy something and say it. Like, dude, you're speaking it over that situation.
That's interesting, because it is very easy to master the tongue of like death,
negativity as well.
This is a death-centric language. This language is intentionally manipulated so that you are death speaking. I mean, like, oh, I died laughing. Oh, you're me. Oh, like all of it is death-centric on purpose. To condition you to be in that mode of speaking negativity over your life. It's not like all of our words, sick. Oh, that's sick, bro.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like what?
Yeah. It's also
where did it come from?
It's very easy to say, like, I try not to do this, right? But it's very easy to say, like, even when I'm not feeling well, it's very easy to kind of lean into that and say, like, I'm just feeling, I'm going to die, or whatever, just saying like all this stuff. But I find it difficult, and I do actively do it, where like, you'll even ask me, right? Like, oh, we got a big show to do tomorrow. Are you going to be feeling better? And I'll go, last night, I'll go, yeah, dude, this is going to be over, and I'm going to be much better tomorrow.
It's like, no, it's not.
Well, but I say that, right?
You're saying it,
I'm not going to get into this thing of being like, who knows how long this is going to last? Am I ever going to feel better? Like that kind of crap.
Let me tell you something. A lot of people that I deal with that are sick, that's how they talk.
Yep.
All the people that are sick, the most sick demon possessed people, they talk like that. They're always like, oh, I don't know. Bro, you speak it over yourself, dude.
Yeah.
I see it flat out every day. Every time I deal with this stuff, like, bro, I'm like, these people that have adopted the death-centric mode, bro, I don't get sick anymore. I don't even know the last time I was sick. Like, I stopped saying, like, when you start to feel sick, I don't say, "Oh, I'm feeling sick."
Yeah,
I
yeah,
never say those words
Yeah.
out my mouth. I don't say it like that. I rebuke sickness. If I'm feeling remotely any sick, I say, "In the name of Jesus, sick, get off me."
Nice.
Now.
That's what I'm going
And
to
I
start
command
saying.
it and I speak it in the spirit and I order it to leave me.
You know, even people
This
that
is how
don't
I
believe
speak.
that that's the case, if you just look at the placebo effect, that should be enough scientific evidence for you to be like, there's something going on here. So the idea that you could be sick and they can give you a sugar pill and you could believe that pill has, affected you in a positive way. And then all of a sudden your symptoms do subside. And you know that as much as that can happen, the reverse can happen. Then if you can believe yourself into being healed, then you can believe yourself into being sick. And that goes back to that Marzinski. Remember when we had you on the episode and he said that he watched a woman who was schizophrenic watch a doctor give diagnoses to a patient and saw the spirits like oily black frogs coming out of the doctor's mouth and attaching themselves to the patient.
Bro, you
that
like
scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, dude, that was like
that
really powerful.
Oh, it's so real. It's so real. I see it real time all the time. And so like the people will speak it over themselves. You know, and I had an experience actually casting a demon out of a person in the beginning when I didn't understand this at all. And this woman had all kinds of sickness. And I was praying. We were praying for like 20 hours. And the woman, and she was like, had lupus and all these diseases and all this sickness. And we're praying and rebuking it. And I'm like, my throat is hurting after praying for 20 hours, bro.
Jeez,
it was like my throat's getting, and I'm like thinking, oh man, I'm getting sick. And the woman is like going, she's sick, she's sick, she's sick. And she's saying, the demon's speaking out of her mouth as we're trying to heal. And I'm like thinking, dude, my throat's like hurt. And all of a sudden she stops. And the moment I have that idea, she goes, she's sick. She goes, you're sick too. And smiles at me, bro. Oh, wow. Bro. And she just was like, she's sick. And she goes, and she looks up, dude. And when she said that, like it like hit me.
I punched her in the face.
Oh, this is freaking. I was like, this is not me, my sword that's throat. This is a spirit. And I said, in the name of Jesus, sick, get off me now. And instantly the sore throat left me. I've never had it, bro. I've never had anything like that happen.
Wow. Isn't it funny though? Like gave itself away. Gave itself away. Like you saw that, you heard that, and you're like, this is not.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, man, that's powerful.
It can't help itself, right? It's
that's
like
powerful.
Man,
you know, and I see Gilberti saying in the thing, women are tough. I think women are really much more spiritually sensitive, but I think they are given this idea of like illness a lot more than like men are, because men are kind of like culturally expected to be hardy and everything. You still show up for work, you don't call out, that kind of thing still exists. But among women, it's like everything is geared towards like the many things that ail women and how unfair it is to be a woman in the female body, everything. It was just like, boom, it's like beating you down. That's what they want you to believe. And then they're like, here is a never ending. Cause I would imagine that a bulk of the pharmaceutical company is aimed at women. Same way. And you know what makes me believe that is because the vast majority of media is aimed at women, and all of the pharmaceutical advertisements exist on media that is aimed at women. So boom, boom, boom. It's like they're getting inundated constantly. Do you have this? Is your back hurt? Or do you have eczema, psoriasis, da 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 da? You know, whatever, cramps, boom, boom, boom. And they're giving you constantly pharmaceutical, pills, whatever, to correct that thing. So women they're hit with that spell. That's a spell.
Absolutely.
They're casting a spell over them constantly of you are ill. Every little thing that you feel is a symptom that's part of a much bigger problem. And we've got what you need.
I think, and it's I understand why. There's like a much stronger fear for women of dying, because especially once they've given birth to children, there's a strong maternal instinct to protect them, take care of them for, the lifespan.
Also, childbirth shows you your mortality.
Oh yeah.
In a big way, so it's like most women are faced with that in a really large way.
All right, listen, we're
just schizo speculating.
No, this is great. This is great, but I want to hear Al's story.
Yes,
So that shelf it, right? And I just keep doing what I'm
shelf
doing.
the DMT.
The dust, the DMT dust.
Put it away, put it in the closet. Don't think about it. I'm still doing I'm getting more into the Monroe stuff. I'm reading all the Robert Monroe books. I'm trying that stuff. I'm finding the stuff with the split. I forgot what it's called.
Hemi-syncing.
The hemi-syncing. Yeah, I was doing it, and I'm having results with it. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, But then it comes to the time.
What's the heavy syncing?
Hemi-syncing.
It's this idea that certain frequencies can sync the hemispheres of your brain and then cause a
okay,
disembodied.
Yeah,
That
like
makes sense.
7 in this and then 9 in this one. So you really your brain is
Interesting.
putting the other 2 in there.
What
And
does
that
what
causes
does the
what?
results look like?
It's kind of trying to give you an out of body experience.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
you-
did you ever get out of your body?
After
Okay,
I did,
So
but
you
I
were
was
able to
getting into a
astral project.
vibrative space. Like
Got it.
I would feel like my fingers starting to tingle, and I would feel like everything, and it was like an electric sound, like that. When I
The
was coming in
electric
and out of
sound
it.
is
It was
always
crazy.
there.
That's what they all feel.
Yeah.
That would
and that was I mean, it's kind of what I was looking for. I was like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like something's
Mhm.
actually happening.
I haven't
Yeah.
mentioned this in a long time, but I don't, if you're like a long time listener of the show, that happened to me often as a child. I would sit in my uncle's house. I remember specifically watching the Yankee game on the Yes Network, probably Yes Network at the time. Michael K, his voice would like kind of like put me out of body vibrations. And I can tell, like, I would be like if we're all watching the TV, I would be like in the corner,
Yeah.
like watching me
Out of body.
yeah, and everybody else, and it would just be like a very crazy sensation that you're talking
Mhm.
about. But I didn't do it on purpose, and I didn't like it. And I would, like, I guess I felt that I could go around, but I'm like, I'm not like the type. You know me, I'm not the type of
Yeah,
dude to like.
he's astral projecting. He's like, I'm not going around.
No, but I'm just like, yeah, dude, I'm not. If this is like not safe,
Yeah.
I could tell.
You know in your spirit. God
Yes.
tells you. You don't need words.
'Cause it
Everybody thinks
feels-
you need to understand things from some book or knowledge.
No.
Your spirit knows. God's already told it. He's already programmed it, just like a spider can spin a web. You know what is wrong. You know what is right. It's already in your heart.
Yeah.
You
And-
get numb to it, and then you ignore it, and then you become corrupt. That's what happens.
We have a shirt that's called Binaural Beatdown because there's this idea that even sometimes like fan sleepers, like I'm a fan sleeper, I like the droning noise. Some of them will accidentally, it's not like it's happening on purpose, but create sort of a rhythmic beat. And that beat can cause a hemisync, and then you will be experiencing sleep paralysis nightly. But really all that is like you are disassociating from your body and you're becoming aware of the spiritual realm. Once you're aware of it, I think it's kind of like a little beacon goes on. You're aware that you're there. These things are aware that you're there,
They're
and
coming.
they start to come towards you.
It's
Yeah.
also an electrical connection.
Yes.
Connected to something that's spinning.
I wonder. I mean, you worked in TV, so I wonder what the hell the guys at the Yes Network were doing.
Well, I used to shoot
That's
the Michael
interesting.
K post game when they played at the Marlins Stadium.
That's cool.
Like,
And Michael K was always doing
So I was like, he
rituals
evoked
and
the
ceremonies
just-
and witchcraft.
Doing like stuff like
Yeah,
this. and-
yeah. He's like before every show, he would
I
burn
never-
a little effigy.
I never sensed anything bad about Michael K specifically, but it's something about.
I wonder if it's his cadence. Maybe he's got like, because you know how there's a hypnotic cadence, like Obama had
The
that
one, too.
hypnotic cadence.
you know, like this kind of thing. And I'm telling you, I could feel it. I'm like, oh, it's happening, and I don't know what to do.
I'm about to get binaural
It
beat
was-
down.
I was almost embarrassed. I was kind of like,
Oh, that's weird.
I wonder if they know.
No, I think the
Like-
kids are much more easily detached.
Yeah.
Kind of the spirit from the flesh kind of a deal.
Definitely closer to the
Well,
the veil.
children are more spiritually in tune.
Yeah.
And so as a result, children are more spiritually sensitive. That's why kids get these experiences of outer body experiences and leaving their body naturally. They
Yeah.
go into it because they're in a state of sort of purity in a sense.
Yeah.
And so they're more susceptible and also more connected to their spirit.
Mhm.
So like people usually lose their out of body experience and sleep paralysis stuff as you get older, unless you learn to engage it and turn it on, which is doing practices of witchcraft to try to engage it. But, yeah.
In a way, that's why I'm glad. When I was younger, I mean, if you talk to my mom, it was like I was the kind of guy that had a lot of. We're gonna get back to you, Al. I promise.
all
I
right.
swear.
Were you gonna say a
We
lot of
will.
Jordans? Is that what you're about to say?
A lot of Jordans, baby.
Is that what he's about
No.
to say? You heard that? A lot
I
of
just had like
Jordans.
a lot of dreams, a lot
dreams.
of visions and stuff like that. And
I
my
got
mom, dreams. Damn it.
You got.
Okay, that's fine. It's a wrong one. That's allowable. But yeah, I had a lot of dreams, and I was like, I kind of asked for it to stop because it was just getting annoying.
Mm.
Dreams were annoying, or
The annoying part was,
because the Lord speaks to you in dreams and visions.
I know. That's why I'm like, you dummy.
well, the part that I don't.
The Lord will also listen to you if you say, Lord, stop sending me dreams.
Yeah, and I mean, if they were nightmares, I mean, that's annoying, I suppose. But
No.
why the dreams?
No, just things that I think were gonna happen. Things that did.
Okay, we
that-
need to pray later, bro. Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
turn this on.
All right, we'll
Mm.
talk about it later. But I was just like, because you know what? I was like, I just don't want these things right now. And then they stopped. Like, but at that time, I don't I didn't need them. And to be honest, not sure I want them right now either. Because
It's like I got a lot of wires.
I got a lot of wires. I got a lot of things going on.
Why don't you want the Lord guiding with the things that you're going on and doing?
I still love it.
I think
I love dreams, man. I don't know.
I mean, Bryan was
you're
talking about how to get prophetic dreams, and I'm like, oh, dude, I basically almost do that.
Like, tell me how to not.
I'm literally the only thing that I'm missing is asking the Lord to send me dreams, and I'm going to be doing that because I'm a napper, and I do be liking naps, and I do get all kinds of really crazy dreams.
And Brian's gonna punch me, but it's a responsibility from what I've experienced.
Okay, Spider-Man.
Yeah, well,
can you Uncle Ben him? With much dreams because much responsibility.
Much responsibilities of explaining them to your mom, and then people
don't explain them to your mom. That's I would advise.
I think this is why
somebody interpret your dreams properly. Or are they just like, oh, I'm explaining my dream. Here's what it is.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, yeah. So here's the deal, dude. Having dreams that mean something is some of like the coolest things I've ever experienced with.
Yes.
Like, bro, I've literally had dreams where God told me, and it was like weird dreams. It was like so weird. Like you wouldn't even like think it was anything. Like I had a dream of like a dolphin that got, swimming along and went into a tube, and then a shark came and bit the tube, and then the dolphin was stuck in the tube, but he didn't swim out. But instead the dolphin turned into spikes and shot spikes through the tube. Bro, that meant something. That meant something so significant. And there was so much to that understanding when you can interpret the dreams. And that stuff happened. Like stuff that I have had crazy dreams. I know, like, okay, Lord, the Lord gave me a dream actually last night. And I know exactly what it meant.
Can you share it?
Well, it's not something that is good.
All right. Oh no!
If it's about us, you can tell us.
It was a dream.
Hold on before you tell us. Now we can continue. Please. Thank you.
I'm gonna have to ask, Lord, because like the God hasn't given me fully the understanding of it yet.
Okay.
But he mentioned, he showed me that there was a man that I was shouting to a woman. I said, "You need to leave that boyfriend of yours." And I was shouting to this woman, "Leave that boyfriend. He's going to ruin you. He's going to kill you."
Oh wow.
And I was in a grocery store parking lot. Okay. And then that I went, and then she looked at me and said, "Shh, don't say anything." I said, "No, you need to leave your boyfriend now. He's going to kill you." And the boyfriend heard me, but I didn't know who it was because there's all these people in the grocery store parking lot. And then, so I'm like, okay, I started walking, and these two guys started walking towards me. I didn't know which one was which. And so I turned into this grocery store building, but I couldn't lock the door. And then the guy came into the building, and then I put my foot at the door and stopped him. And then I realized this is the guy that was the boyfriend that was like pissed that I warned her.
Yeah.
And then now he was trying to come in, and then he turned around and grabbed a hammer, came back at me and tried hitting me, and then reached his hand through the crack. But I put my foot there and tried to hit me, but I grabbed the hammer and was able to get it out of his hand. Every single part of this dream has a significance. I know this sounds like chaos. I know it sounds just like some random whatever. Okay, this dream is significant into that the woman is either society, and the Lord hasn't given me the full understanding of it, and society, that I am being a voice of warning to the world. Okay, and I am supposed to speak. And that speaking is going to evoke something potentially dangerous that's going to come from me. But if I prepare to shut my door, I know that I can stop it. Now, it still might reach its hand in, but with its hand that it reaches at me, I can use its hand as a weapon against it. So like I can see now that whatever's going on in my life and the things that I'm dealing with, because of the dream interpretation, I understand, okay, I'm going to be a voice. I'm going to speak. It's going to piss something off. Something's going to try to come. I need to know how to navigate when it comes. I'll be able to use it against itself.
You're in a bad place too. I was telling you before when we were in the coffee shop, you're in California and the world is going into chaos in a really big way. And what's not going to be, and I'm not saying that you should shy away from this, but spreading the gospel in places that, the adversary has a stronghold in, and certainly these city centers have a massive dark spirit over them. you're not going to be well received. And I know you were saying you were
Prophesy
thinking
the opposite over me.
no, I agree.
Say, I will be well received.
Well,
In
I
the
mean,
name of Jesus,
not only will you,
I rebuke it.
there are people that will need to hear what you're saying.
Mhm.
You know, the crazier the world gets, the more important the gospel is, the more important people coming to Jesus Christ is. And so if anybody needs it, it's going to be people in those places. It's just it's you know.
But this is how prophecy works. When you share these things, you understand these things, you speak these things. So it's like, I know that like I will be protected and that I will be able to fend off the situation. But now the Lord's warned me. So now I have an understanding of it. And so
now you can keep an eye out.
I'll have peace and I'll be able to go, okay, I'm going to be the voice. It's going to piss somebody off, somebody. And it doesn't mean that this person's going to come after me with a hammer. It could be a totally different understanding.
But that's the symbol that was used.
That's just how the dream was interpreted. But it could be a spiritual, it could be something, you know, that they come after me in social media or who knows what, you know.
I want to tell him really quickly about it. Then I want to get back to Al. I'm going to give him the abridged version. But I had, when we were having this falling out after Bohemian Grove, and it was very, I guess, tumultuous. I had this dream where, there it is. I had this dream where, you know, we were very stressed out. And I felt when we had a falling out with some of our old buddies that I was vindicated, that I had the correct position in our argument, that I was in alignment with the truth. And I think that made giving into this spirit of anger and resentment very tempting, because it's like, I'm right. And even if I was right, it was like that being correct was still this slippery slope that could have led to me being in this spirit of anger and in the spirit of resentment. So I had this dream. I'm on a ship, and the ship is on this treacherous water, and it's you know, these waves, and it's horrifying, and the ocean is very, very uneasy, tumultuous. I tried so hard not to use it again. And on this ship there was a man, and this man to me was, well, in the dream I was accepting the idea that he was this ancient vampire, but he was like an older man. He was well dressed. He had like slick back hair. He was wearing a tank top, but you could tell like over the tank top he previously had nice clothes, like things with buttons. He had nice shoes, nice slacks, things like that. And he is this ancient vampire, and around him there are these people that shared in that spirit of vampirism with him. And one of them is a woman, and she's like a bit of a floozy, and she's like careless and so maybe even drunk. And then there's like another guy, and it's just like all these people that are somehow sharing in this spirit. I felt like he had infected them with vampirism. And some of them are getting cast over the edge of the ship into these waters, right? Certainly dying. And so I'm talking to him, and I'm understanding that he is infecting these people with his spirit. And he is kind of remorseful, but he's doing it anyway. And I understand that if I share in this spirit with him, that's where I'm going. And he also knows that that's his fate. At one point, I remember him looking over the banister into the ocean, and he knows that's where he's going. And he is kind of sad that I'm not going to share in this spirit with him. But I just like, that's the whole premise of the dream, is like, I know, even though he kind of seems all right, if I were to share in this thing with him, that's where I'm going. And so I didn't want anything to do with it. And I instead like turned my back to him and turned my back to the waters. But all these other people were just spilling overboard into the ocean. And when I woke up, I kind of thought it was like a nonsense dream for some reason. And then I was unpacking it to my wife, and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm being tempted right now everywhere I look with this spirit of anger and this spirit of resentment and like righteous vindication. Like I was correct, and therefore I can uncork on these people and say whatever I want. But instead I didn't do that. Instead I apologized, you know, for whatever role that I played in this falling out. And I prayed about the situation for these individuals, yada, yada, yada. And then I even told you I had this deliverance session with Laura Baker, because it was so heavy on my spirit. I felt like I had at least dodged the anger and resentment bullet, but then the Lord put on me to actually reach out to one of them, to go to his house. And I didn't do it. And then I started, then I started having like all kinds of really crazy crap happen. I was seeing things like in the crack of my door in my bathroom, and I was having nightmares that first started as stressful and then turned into supernatural. And it didn't stop until I had this deliverance, and I repented for disobedience effectively. And but it was this huge, but I think I may have understood that dream enough. It was like a prophetic warning to me, like, don't engage with this spirit, or you are going to the same place where these other people are going who share in that spirit.
You're absolutely right. I mean, that's exactly what your dream meant. Your dream literally meant like, do not, there is a man who is involved in something demonic in their agenda and what they're promoting and what they're doing. And that individual is infecting people with ideologies that are wrong and that are false. And they're infecting the others that are around him that are also spreading false narrative and false information. This is what your dream means. And if you were to engage with that, those false information is sending people into the abyss. That's where the water is. The water is the abyss. And if you're to engage in that individual, you would be going into the abyss as well. And not only that, he knows he's going into the abyss because he knows he's wrong. He knows in his heart, he's been warned by God as also. That is what your dream means. And so your dream has a meaning, 100%. It doesn't mean, it's not significant to be like, I'm going to ignore this. Like, the Lord shows you stuff, and you can do one of two things. You can pray against your dream. Like, I'm going to pray. I pray against the situation of my dream, that Lord God, in the name of Jesus, the dream that you showed me, may it not happen. And may whatever the thing that comes against me, Lord, whatever is trying to come against me, Father, I pray that you stop that before it even gets to the door in the name of Jesus. And I speak that over myself now. And this is how I prophesy. And this is how you speak against these things. The Lord gives you a dream. And I say right now, and I declare before everybody who's seeing and everybody that hears that, in the name of Jesus, that dream will not prosper in my life. And the negativity of it will not prosper in my life.
How do you know if it's a dream from the Lord or
every
something
dream
else?
is from the Lord?
Okay, explain yourself.
Every dream, even in the nightmares, because God's allowing you to experience and understand something about yourself. Every dream. So even if they're terrible, you're learning something. God's allowing it to happen. So that way you understand and you know, like if you have dreams, even like sexual dreams, that's something that's wrong with your heart. There's something in your heart that's sexually, that you're perverse, and the Lord's showing this to you. You need to fight that. You need to understand that to where your dreams become pure. So you can fight all of it. You can to an extent control some aspect of your dreams. People think you can't. Yeah, you can.
I've gotten to the point in my dreams where, like, when something goes wrong, I'll find myself calling on Christ.
There you go.
Like, in my dreams.
That's what's in your heart. Your heart, your dreams are a reflection.
That wasn't always the
heart.
case. Like, you know, most of my life, that wasn't the case. Something changed at some point, and then I was like having these dreams. There's a demonic entity. At first, I'm gripped, and then all of a sudden it dawns on me. I realize I can call out to Jesus Christ. In one of my dreams, I was praying the blood of Jesus Christ over me and the people that I was with. Yeah, you can. It's weird because it's not like I thought to do it. It was like this character that I am, experiencing the dream from the perspective of it's me, but I'm not. It's like almost autopilot, because I'm not like consciously making decisions. But all of a sudden, in my dream state, I become aware that I can call on Jesus Christ. Always, 100% course corrects the entire thing. I either rebuke this thing that's there, or if there's not an actual thing there, it's a stressful scenario that's, I think, evoking stress from me because I think they feed off of it. I wake up. And I don't know it's hard to quantify that because it's not a conscious decision that I'm making inside the dream, but something changed at some point, and that has become a dynamic that is part of my dream experience now. When things go too far south, something kicks in, and I go, in the name of Jesus Christ. And either this thing is, honestly, sometimes like, when I'm prophesying, I'm praying the blood of Jesus Christ over me and my whoever I'm with in this one dream. It is not even, almost doesn't even sound like me, because it's like the way that I'm speaking is profound and convicted, and it's like, wow. And then I'm awake. I remember that one. That was when I thought we were going to go to Moon Lake.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like somebody trapped us in some sort of scenario. All right. We have to get back to Al's story because I'm sorry.
I'm enjoying
and,
this.
and I know the audience is like, the dreams, really, Raven, the dreams. So
He's got dreams.
I got dreams. All right. So Al, please continue.
So, and now I'm getting back in. I'm getting into doing a lot of Monroe stuff, and I'm really exploring like cymatics and things like that, and then trying to like do meditations with different frequencies. And I'm getting the same feelings. I'm doing like Wim Hof breathing techniques before I meditate, and then like when I'm in that kind of like floaty feeling, I'll put on some kind of frequency, and then I'll just meditate.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
And what fruits did it?
I never had like during meditation. I don't know. I didn't use it. I wasn't like I'm gonna like contact something. I just wanted to like be calm and just like clear everything out. It was working for that. But at the same time, this is like a little side thing. It's only gonna take a second. During that time, I never go in through the front door of my house. We always go in through the garage, stuff like that. But during that time, I remember this coming in. And I was here. I was pretty much into the Merkel show at that time.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a lot of different things and demon stuff like that. But for the one time, we came in through the front door at that time. And as I walked in the front door, all of a sudden, I couldn't control. Like I felt this feeling of like pure happiness, like super, super happiness. And my face was like, it smiled so big and my eyes opened up and stuff. And I was like, I didn't do it myself. I was like, and I was like, did I just let something in through the front door of my house?
God.
I'm thinking like Dracula stuff like that. And I was just like, it scared me, but at the same time, it was like, I felt awesome. Like, you know?
Yeah, because whatever it is pumped.
Yeah. I was just like, and I looked around and I was like, why am I smiling so huge? My eyes were big, and it just kind of faded away. But I thought that was something cool I could put in there. Like,
did anything go ahead, Brian?
I've seen that several times. I was actually praying for one of my friends one time who I like, we know each other really well. And he was like, yeah, dude, I'm feeling some stuff. So we start praying. And then all of a sudden he's like, he starts smiling uncontrollably. I'm like, bro,
no.
I'm like, what's, and he was like, he's like, I'm sorry. I don't, and he's like, his face, he's like, why am I doing that? And all of a sudden it does it again. He's like, I don't know why I'm doing this. And he's like, couldn't stop the smiling.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's like, starts looking at me. And then all of a sudden he stops talking. And all he's doing is smiling. And his mouth is getting bigger and bigger. Like the
it felt like my mouth was trying to get.
Well, that sounds like a positive thing until you look into like all the spooky crap that Hollywood dishes
smile
out.
mouths. And
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Impossibly wide smiles, right? You get a lot of that in these horrors. So did anything change? Because that sounds to me like a pivotal moment. This thing potentially has gained access. It's knocked and you've let it in. If it was in you, if it was a hitchhiker, if it was attached to you, it seems like somehow it's gained
I didn't
access.
think about any of that till after. I just thought that was a weird thing, but I did have that thought in my mind, like, you know, because of listening to all those weird podcasts.
Yeah, man.
But so I'm, you know, doing that. And then when I saw you guys, that's the one thing I was like, frequency meditation is kind of what drew me to that stuff. So I'm getting more into the frequency stuff. And at this time, everybody's back in school. I got a lot of time. The productions I'm on aren't back in. You know, they're still taking off time till everything calms down. So I got hours to go. So I was like, oh, I'm home alone a lot of time. So this is probably the time to do it. I won't, you know, mess with anybody or do anything. So I go out and I allegedly buy this Egyptian bong with all kinds of weird Egyptian symbols all over it. I'm doing all the wrong things at all the wrong times.
Something influenced you.
Oh my
sure.
goodness. Yeah, that's not a random choice there.
So, and you know, so I get that, and finally I break it out. I'm like, okay, this afternoon, this is the time we're going to do it. So
yeah,
I was like, I've been doing frequency meditation. It's making me feel good. So like when I try it the first time, I'm going to put on this thing. So I find this thing. It's like 528 megahertz, supposed to be like a healing frequency, and it's like really nice and close. So I was like, to do it. So I prepare like the side of the bed. I was like, I'm going to lay down right here and I'm just going to do it.
And this is supposed to be like not a super long trip. So you should be able to.
Yeah, right, like 20 minutes, half an hour. I'm cool. Like I've got hours of the day to do it.
In and out.
Yeah, in and out. And that's it, man. Yeah.
And at this time, I wasn't like, I'm going to crack open the keys of the universe, but I was like, I got questions I want to know. I just want to show up because I'm hearing all these people doing DMT and you know, asking questions, getting this profound stuff. And I was like, I don't have like a huge question. I just like, I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's it. I just want to show up and be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Or just see something, you know, it's not like a deep thing like that. So first time I put the music on, I get it all set up, I pack it up, I do it, I lay back, and I'm expecting something. And man, you just said that it didn't really work the first time.
Oh no, man.
Just like you said.
It works.
Yeah. And I was like, man, it didn't really work. Maybe I need more. Maybe I need something like that. So at the very end, I'm sitting there and then I just see these like little tendrils of like smoke coming in from the sides of my vision of like all different colors, like rainbow colors, and they meet in the middle and kind of swirl around. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's starting to work. So I was like, it's okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
you
still
evoked
feeling
it
this.
coming
Well,
in.
I'm still feeling this. I'm gonna do it again because I hear you have to take a couple.
This is
to
what
make
what's
it
his
really
name
work.
did. Jonathan, right?
Oh yeah. Of
Cult of
Cult of
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy. Yeah,
Mhm.
who also he does metaphysics. I don't know what the heck it's called, but yeah, he ended up doing. It seems like too much DMT.
Same sort of thing. I think he did a little bit, and he had like he's like, oh, there's something there, and then he did more, and then he's like, I experienced death.
I went
I think
too
it was
far.
directly with the frequency. So I kept the same thing on the 528, you know, and so I did a little bit more, and then that time, like, I kind of rocketed out, and I was like, okay, this is it, you know. And then when you do like something like that, it's not like, I mean, mushrooms. I think mushrooms, you feel more high and giggly and weird when you do it. You know, you feel like you're high.
Yeah.
But when DMT, it doesn't feel like that. You feel clear
So you've got this state of consciousness, but you are in an altered
in
realm.
an altered place, right?
Mm.
So this, I'm just feeling like everything's just white, and all I can feel is like my teeth, you know. And I'm just like
That's interesting.
rocketing through this realm, and I'm just seeing like fractals of red and gold and stuff coming in, and I'm like, you know, I was like, okay, and I started coming down from that, and that wasn't that, you know, profound. So, but afterwards, you know, I'm walking. I guess as it starts to wear off, you can function, you can do things, you're still seeing like weird stuff, but you can like. So I walk outside, my dog's on the couch outside. I'm like, I'll pet my dog. I look up at the sky, and it's just like checkerboard of the exact same cloud formation just folding into itself like a million times. And then I'm like, simulation theory, we're in a simulation, you know. And I look back at the house, and I can see like these pink wire frame, like, you know, when you're doing animation, like the guide frames. I'm like, it is a simulation, but you know, who knows?
Shows you
You're
what
seeing-
you want to see.
Yeah, you're seeing behind the wall. So what you're actually looking at is like, imagine like we are in a bathroom and there's pipes and the water comes out the wall. And when you go into these realms, you're actually seeing through the wall where all the pipes are. So a lot of times you are seeing like structural things.
Yeah, this is actually
capacity.
Paul Stobbs did a great job of explaining this. He says, like, imagine a beautiful ornate rug, right? And then when you do DMT, what you're actually seeing is all the cross stitching on the bottom side of the ornate rug, which is, you know, it's part of the integrity of the rug. It's necessary for all this beauty to exist, but you're seeing kind of the back of, you know, how it's made.
I'm seeing that, you know, all those.
It's a lower dimension, mind you. Just so you know, people think they're going to a higher dimension. No, you're going to a lower dimension. And this is the fractal realm, is the realm where the demons reside. And this is why they'd rather be inside of you than inside of this realm.
Yeah, because
they
can't
can't turn it off.
Right.
That's the realm in which they operate in.
There's
So
no
to them, it's
beauty
just
in
like,
it. They can't engage. And they also want to engage in like sins
There's
of the
no
flesh.
order.
Right. They want to be involved in the physical, which is why as soon as they possess you, they drive you to drug use. They drive you to sexual debauchery. They drive you to violence. They want to engage with this aspect of reality, but where they are sucks.
Yep.
But that wireframe thing was really, I was like, wow, there is something to something. There's another realm. I know, like, now I know for sure there's something on the other side of this, you know. And I did write this story and I sent it to Merkel like real early on, but I like later on I found he doesn't like if it has any drugs involved in it.
Now he's changed that. Now he's realized that like the drug stories, it's not glorifying the drugs and it's also not diminishing the experience. In fact, I think if you don't allow people to share these experiences and then try to help them into understanding what they are, then it's just another one of those things where we live in a materialist realm. There are spiritual experiences and there's not many places to go for answers.
Yeah, he's not understanding or giving legitimacy to the idea of
there's
the opening
a lot
of doorways with these drugs. He thinks, I guess he thinks it's more hallucinations, but obviously,
you know what it is? It's like his audience could say,
what are you pointing at there, Brian?
what's
Let's
better?
read it out.
Nancy, she says, my ex did DMT a couple of days before his amateur MMA debut. He said he visited the spirit of his ancestors who gave him permission to enter the ring. Weird stuff. Did he win? Yeah, that's what's his name? Who does that?
Alex Pereira.
Alex Pereira does that. Yeah,
That's actually that's an interesting one. When he fought Jiri Prohaska, Jiri said, just promise when we come to the fight, he won. He said, promise when we come to the fight, you're not bringing any of these entities, because when they do the face-offs, he's wearing like the painted face,
Yeah.
and they're doing like those chants of whatever
Dress
gods
like
are.
the spirit that you want to inhabit you. And he's painting himself like this, you know, this spiritual entity.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
That's very real. And then like it is the ancestors. This is where we get ancestor worship from. The concept of ancestor worship. People always think they're meeting their ancestors. You're meeting demons that were possessing
familiar spirits and such. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. But that they think it's always the same. And you know what? Another thing that's always the same that people don't get, it's the same thing as worshiping the in the Catholic Church, the saints. Who do you think they are?
Catholics are mad
Who do
now.
you think you're doing? What do you think you're praying to? Your ancestors, fool? It's ancestor worship.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, how do you think that's any different?
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah, that these saints would be your ancestors.
Yeah, your
literally your
guides.
ancestors, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the same exact thing, but people miss it. And they
Your
don't
predecessors, those who came before you. Yeah.
Yeah, with their great wisdom, dude. It's demons, dude. You're talking to demons that were possessing or following these individuals.
Yeah.
Always.
Catholics
every
down
time.
bad right now. Every episode, we're just stomping them, stomping them. Very sorry, Catholics, but you got some housekeeping
just
to do.
be better.
You
Be a
got to
little
look at
better.
what you're doing. All right, so continue.
Going
Alan.
through that, like, okay, so I'm in the wireframe deal. I'm looking at the clouds. It's starting to calm down again. So I'm like, I'm almost there. So I'm going to do it one more time. And, you know, while I still feel a little bit of effects of what's going on now, and that should be it. I should be able to get where I want to go.
Yeah.
So,
so you're saying we're almost there. You're now compelled
because I
by
know
what you're seeing.
I feel like I skidded along the edge. You know, I didn't really get through.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to change what I'm listening to. So I've been, you know, with the meditation stuff like that, I've been listening to the different singing bowls and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, Tibetan singing bowls. I'll put this on, you know, this is cool. The different frequencies. So I did that. So I do it the third time. The singing bowl start in. The first one comes on. Bwong, you know, can kind of hear it while it's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right, let me get this right. So that's happening. Everything's red and gold again. And I'm kind of seeing this ball, right? And then the second gong comes in, you know, and again, it gets more intense and I'm seeing the ball starts to move and it's like all red and it's like liquidy. And it's got like, I don't know, I would say like the Sanskrit thing in the middle, the little black.
The Sanskrit thing in the middle. What do you mean?
You're seeing this?
I'm seeing this.
The Sanskrit. What do you mean the Sanskrit?
Going with the music?
It's going with the music while just getting more intense with the music. And then the third hit of the bowl was some frequency that I've never heard before, but it was super deep and super
Did it vibrate
vibratory.
you? Yeah.
It was like, whoa. And then when that happened, it's freaked out, dude.
body.
The ball just took off, dude. And I was chasing the ball and like, I was just watching it happen. And it was like, oh, I didn't want this. Like,
yeah, I didn't ask for all this. I kind of did. You kind of asked for something, right?
I did. I asked for it. So I went through that and it was really like, you know, I was kind of like white knuckling through that. I'm just feeling like saliva coming in and I'm just watching this but the sound is so jarring. Like I can't take it.
Wait. But when you said Sanskrit thing in the center of this ball, what do you mean? The Om symbol?
The Om symbol, the kanji Om thing, whatever it is. It looks
You
the
see
same.
it.
You see it everywhere.
It's a demonic sigil.
Yeah,
But
you see it.
was
Like
that-
white women tattoos.
You know, it looked like a liquidy 8 ball with the white circle, red with the white circle. And then that symbol was in the middle.
Interesting.
And then like it would just took off and there was like liquid coming off it and stuff like that. But that was happening at the same time. So, you know, I'm just white knuckling through this. I'm like waiting for it to, I'm glad this wasn't anything stronger. I know this is going to end in a couple minutes. Just going through that. And as I'm starting to come back, I'm like, I can't take the sound anymore. I got to turn it off. I got to.
Meanwhile, the demons are like, time doesn't matter here.
No, it doesn't. But at the same time, I'm opening my eyes now, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm under a ceiling fan, which is where we were just talking about the freaking electricity, the portal, the thing spinning around, the fans folding into itself. There's this like black smoke coming out of the top of it, and like this weird tendrils of black smoke, and I'm like, this is not good. And and then I start like feeling my body and looking around as I'm coming through, and I feel like I'm moving. Like, you ever see a movie where the demon comes in and they're moving in that really fast way, like they're moving their head back and forth. They're
Like,
just,
you
really
see
doing
that with strobing UV light, not UV lights, strobing fluorescent.
Yeah.
Just like when they're looking at you and their head's just going back and forth. Like, so like I feel like I'm doing that, right? And I'm like, something bad's gonna happen. That's just what starts going through my head. I didn't say something bad. I just said something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. And I'm looking at the fan. I'm looking at the smoke. So I'm like pushing myself up onto the bed because I feel like when I do snap back into this realm, I'm gonna be convulsing like I've never convulsed before. That's what I felt like I was doing. I felt like I was doing that. So And then I just like got into my head. I was like, it's already happened. It's already happened. It's already happened. And then it started to calm down and smoke went away and then stuff like that. And then, you know, I spent like 3 hours looking out the window going, it's all real. There's another realm. There's something else going on. If there's bad, there has to be good. If there's good, there has to be bad. It's like, it's all true. And so have those weird feelings that, I mean, I don't really know how to go after that.
Did you ever see any entities ever?
Did not see any entities. I saw the black smoke and the tendrils.
The tendrils, like tentacle things,
but smoky.
Okay, but they were like
just long, like wispy.
Yeah, I've seen
things like that.
That was what was wrapped around.
So that's the
Homeboy's
most
legs.
common. One of the most common things that people see is tentacles.
Yeah,
they'll see the things, and like I think Graham Hancock actually on his website talks about it. You can actually see the Aztecs. They have these faces where the tentacles come out like my hands like this.
Oh yeah,
like my tentacle hands.
So like the tentacles come out of their head and they like go all wavy like. Okay, so that's literally a thing. They're called the snakes sometimes. People will call them the snakes, the tentacles, the whatever. Those are the seraphim angels, the fallen angels. So you're seeing remnants of them in that spiritual realm. You're seeing their wings or whatever they are.
That's interesting. Nancy says, reminds me of Jerry Marcinski's friend about the ceiling apparition, which was homeboy who was the mechanical engineer, recovering schizophrenic, went on to have a successful career. And then retired, but he saw what like Gnostics would call, I forget what the heck the name of it is, but a serpent body, lion headed thing that I don't know how he categorized it, but it came out of a portal. In fact, shortly after that episode, I saw something like that. Remember I told you I watched a portal open up in my room?
Yeah.
And I think I was smoking at the time, and it wouldn't go away if I closed or opened my eyes. And I was pretty pissed off about, not like pissed off, but like I didn't want to see that. I didn't want anything to do with it, and I just wanted it to stop. And I remember watching it. It was like a single point that opened up, and then something started coming through it, and I was like, nope.
Not today.
Not, dude. I was super awake. It wasn't even like remotely close. Yalda Boath. Thank you, Eamon Rat. Yeah, that sounds kind of like that situation, because it was a portal that had all these like kind of smoky tendrils around the edges of it, and it opened up, and then this thing came through, and it was this Abraxas. Well, Abraxas is kind of the chicken snake thing, but but to your point, Brian, that is a common
Medusa kind of thing.
Yeah,
typically.
Yeah, and I remember seeing that smoky tendril situation around the legs of that dude demon thing that really bummed me out too. So you have this experience, and it sounds to me, Al, like you're left not freaked out in necessarily a bad way, but being like, I'm certain now that there is more to reality. Does this spur you on to try to have more experiences, or are you done at this point?
No, I'm not. I'm done at that point.
Oh, interesting.
That was after that. After seeing that and feeling the feeling was the worst.
Yeah,
out of that. But after that, I'm taking a shower. I'm seeing things in the tiles of the shower, like faces or whatever. I saw like this frog kind of thing, toad.
Really? That's a lot of spirits. They're frogs.
Unclean spirits.
No, it was toad.
It was literally toad. It was Toad's face.
Seeing things like that, but just getting feelings, more of a lot of the synchronicity things like that.
You know how horrifying that would be, though, to like turn and there's just a smoky, ethereal toad with his hand on his hip.
It's horrifying every time he's at the house, and I got to look at him. I'm like,
it's like, Toad, what are you doing here? He's like, is this the ER? I'm like, oh my god, dude,
just complaining.
Get out! Get in the name of Jesus! Get out of my house, dude. I'm sorry. So go on.
No, it's just and after that, I'm starting to get like premonition-y kind of things like that. Like I'll be riding my bike with my son and be like, he's gonna hit that mailbox right behind me. I'm like, well, look out, you're gonna hit that, and he hit the mailbox. I'm like, damn it. Things like that. Like I'm driving and I start getting like this crazy feeling like there's going to be an accident. I'm going to get an accident. I better slow down. And then like I go around the corner and bam, someone gets in an accident right in front of me.
Yeah. So there's a reason for that. Have you figured it out yet?
No.
Yeah. So once you've engaged in the spiritual realm and you've turned on your spirit, once your spirit is now aware, there's prophetic giftings and anointings that are within everybody. Okay. So you came to the understanding and the knowledge of this experience.
Yeah.
You probably kicked on your spiritual awareness, and now your spirit is more in tune with your body. So now you're recognizing spiritual unctionings.
Well, that's kind
That's
of
a
what I'm
prophetic
trying to
gift.
do on the whole thing. Like, and at the same time, the top of my head, like where your crown is,
You feel a fuzzy vibrating or something?
tingly.
Yeah,
like I'm telling my wife, I think I'm going bald.
Oh,
Like,
that's
I think I'm going
interesting. I get
bald,
the
like
same
that.
thing, but
And it
it's,
happened for like a week, and I was like, "Is my hair falling out?" I was like, "No," but I just felt like that tingling
mine
all around the
happens.
top.
I'll get
That's
like
a spirit that was sitting on you, probably.
And at the same time, I'm like, I'm not drinking fluoride. I'm not, I'm doing all this stuff. So I'm drinking freaking liquid deaths. And then I read the article where they're like
Oh my
hiring
gosh.
witches and warlocks to
Damn
bless the.
you can't do anything without. Oh my god!
I drank so much of that at Skankfest.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's all that they had.
That makes sense.
I wouldn't touch that bottle for nothing.
I mean, it's called liquid
Well,
death.
I didn't
should
know
be a
that. And then I
good-
read the article. I'm like, they're having people, you know what I
Of
mean?
course, yeah. I mean,
So-
why not, right? If they're doing kosher, and why not have some
Why
Wiccans?
not curse it? A little blessing,
a
a
little
little
crazy.
curse. Here we go.
What are you gonna do?
But all that stuff is happening. And then, so like, I'm having all this kind of different feelings, like the stuff I was just saying, like the little premonition kind of things. I'm seeing a lot
Yeah.
of the numbers. I'm just like, I'm in that feeling, like knowing that there's a lot more going
Mhm.
on. At the same time, when I go to bed at night, I'm terrified in a way
Oh.
that I haven't felt ever, even as a kid. I had one out of body experience, like a lucid dream thing when I was a kid, where I was like, I was floating up by the ceiling. There's just Muppets coming out of the wall, but my bed was
Muppets?
on the top. Yeah, just
That's
evil
horrifying.
Muppets, because that's like all I
Wow.
knew.
That's horrifying.
That should tell you right there.
But I was like 6, and
Yeah.
like, but
Yeah,
Anybody
well, your
in your
spirit doesn't
your
mean your spirit doesn't recognize that it's totally demonic.
right? Anybody in your family, of like in your lineage, you have like my grandmother, for example, was plagued by alien abduction experiences, and I think her modality for dealing with it was to delve into sort of new age crap.
Yeah.
And so she was involved in a lot of like what you would call like Wiccan practices and such. Anybody in your family that you're aware of?
no, but I used to hang out with this kid when I was little, and his mom was like a tarot card reader and stuff like that. And then we were too young to know
Sure.
what this stuff was, and she was like, "Oh, play with the Ouija board, do this," and she would sit us down and be like,
Dude, she was giving
So
kids a Ouija
she would
board.
be like, imagine yourself as a white
cool
outline
aunt.
of your body.
she was
and
the cool
imagine
aunt,
the
yeah.
light coming into your head and filling your
Wow.
body. And she's
Yeah.
like, when the light fills up your whole body, then you guys are safe and you can go on the Ouija board and you can ask for whatever you
What?
want.
She
We were
really-
like 11, dude.
She was teaching you to channel
Yeah.
spirits at 11.
And we were like, let's talk to Jimi Hendrix. Like,
Oh
Let's
my
talk to Jimi
God.
Hendrix.
and
He's
then
like,
I
yeah,
came
I'll be
home
Jimi
one
Hendrix
time,
for
and
you.
I don't really remember what happened, but I came home one time and I told my mom about it. And I years later, I told her about it, and she's like, "Yeah, you didn't like whatever happened that time." And I never did it again after that.
Man, that lady
Dude.
is an a-hole.
Yeah.
A
Wow,
real.
she was
Imagine like
literally teaching you how to channel entities.
And
how
that
to
was the
channel
first
demons.
time, like over his house, that was the first time, like they had Cinemax. It was the first time we saw some, like, Cinemax movies. She would have, roaches in the ashtray just out, where the kids are around.
She is. That's the cool aunt, right? That's the. I really gotta like.
Divorced?
I never seen his dad. Over.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, never married. Those parents were the worst parents in my experience. When you're a kid, they're cool. Going over somebody's house and their mom says like, I don't care if you smoke weed, just don't do it out there. You could do it in here. Literally the worst. And it's always a single mom too. The worst households you could ever let your child be in, because they are lulled in by the idea of like safety and acceptance or whatever. But really, in hindsight, all that happens under that house is spiritual corruption.
Well,
Under
she
that
was
roof.
a medium, whatever.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what her job. Like,
That was
she
my
was
aunt's house,
tarot
the-
card person.
The one that was haunted. Well, that probably still is haunted. That I probably told you a bunch of stories about that stuff.
Dude, it's those people are everywhere.
Yeah.
Those people are everywhere. And if you aren't guarding your kids, if you're not like, they call it helicopter parenting, it's like you need to know where the hell your kids are. You need to know where your kids are, because they're going to end up in somebody's house and you're going to go right now, my son will be like, oh, so-and-so is always like, they're always allowed on their phone or something like that. And I go, no, you have your phone for a certain amount of time. It's got an hour on it or so that you can talk to your friends and text message them. You can call your aunt, you can call your grandma, whatever. Then it gets turned off and you can't have access to it anymore. He doesn't understand why some of his friends are perpetually on it, because there's like this thing where some parents will just go, as long as you're not out on the streets, or maybe they don't even care about that, you can do whatever you want for as long as you want, and you can do it under those roof. And if he grows up and he's got a friend who it seems like he's just always allowed over their house, I'd be suspicious. I'd be like, why are his parents okay with you constantly being in the house like that?
Yeah.
Why would that be the case? And it's like, because I remember what those parents were like, the ones who didn't care however many kids were over, who stayed as long as they wanted, who stayed for as late as they wanted, because as soon as you hit 14 or 15, those are like, well, they're going to drink outside anyway, so they might as well do it under my roof. You know, they're going to smoke outside anyway, so they might as well do it in here where it's safe. Next thing you know, then they're smoking and drinking with the kids. No. I've known so many people like that. I was a latch and key kid, and I was out.
Me too.
All the time, dude. And I knew so many parents that were like that. And really that was just like a spiritual dark beacon, drawing all the kids in the neighborhood to one location where just all the worst crap happened, man. That's terrible. Federal agent says Raven is literally talking about my mom right now. I'm sure, dude. I know how the chat is. You know, we're attracting people that are just like me. So I'm sure you guys had experiences like that.
So this is going on now. After that, I'm having this like, you know, a difference in my reality. I'm feeling things, and like I said, at night I'm going to sleep. I'm going in my bed, and I'm feeling terrified, like a little kid, like I've never felt before in my life. I'm like, I got to keep my feet in the blanket.
How old are you
and then,
when this is happening?
50.
Yeah, dude. I know. I know what I'm just saying because I know what that's like, and I know what that's like recently.
Yeah. So there's this one part of my closet that comes up to almost my bed, and I'm feeling something there. Like if I have to get up at night to take a leak or something like that, I'm scared to go by that closet. I'm not showing it. I'm not showing it, but in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna walk into the bathroom now.
Yeah, almost makes you mad, doesn't it?
Like, I don't make me mad. It just made me like, I don't know what it made.
Well, because for me, it was like I was mad and I'm stressed out, and I just want to sleep, but I am terrified.
No, even with somebody, not by yourself.
Oh yeah,
you're still feeling.
I'm still feeling it.
Dang, that's a heavy presence, actually.
Yep.
So this is going on for like 6 days. This whole thing, I'm like, is this it now?
This is
my life now.
I'm afraid of the dark now.
Just that part is like the kid, like the demon in the closet, you know? It's like that part of the closet right there. And it's like, it's always right there. And during the day, it's fine. But at night, like, especially in the middle of the night, I'm like, I don't want to go by that part of the room.
Yeah.
I just don't want to go there. So, okay. So this is going on for 8 days. On the 8th day, I'm going to a comedy show where we met.
Oh, there. Really?
I'm going to see.
This was leading up to that?
Yeah. That's why I saw you guys. I know that's it. I'm going to see Mark Normand. I'm like, oh, I like this guy so funny. I'm going to go see him. I'm going to go pick my buddy up before I go into that closet. And I start to feel my nasal passages open up, my heart rate go way up. I feel like I just ran a marathon. Like, you know, I feel this electric feeling, and I just like that fight or flight kind of like, like I've never had my nasal passages open that far.
Your body's getting ready for combat.
My jugular just pumping, but I'm not feeling like
you're not seeing what.
I'm not seeing anything. I'm just feeling that. And I'm like, this is
your body
weird.
Is telling you something is wrong.
So I grab a shirt from out of there and I put it on because I think it's a funny shirt. I'll tell you what's on it later. Okay. So
it's the tree of like Kabbalah
like
tree.
What's the story with the donkey, with the angel in the road?
Oh, where the donkey's like, dude, have I not been?
He's like, I've been trying to not go this way. Now I got to talk.
Now I got to talk to you. Have I not been your donkey for all this time, dude? Like, trust me. Yeah.
So I'm going to the comedy club at this. I'm feeling this. I've got my buddies sitting next to me. I guess on the outside, I'm looking normal. You can't tell anything's wrong. I'm not like squirting sweat or anything like that, but this whole time I'm feeling this way. And this is like going on like 2 hours, man. I'm like, when's this going to go away? So I'm going in, we go inside, and I'm like, we sit down, and I'm like, I'm going to go check if I locked my car. I don't think I locked it. So I just go outside and I take some deep breaths. I'm like, I got to calm myself down. What's going on? So I walk back into the comedy club. I go to the bathroom to take a leak. And as I'm at the urinal peeing, the wall just goes like melts kind of. And I feel like, you ever hear the stories when somebody says, I feel like someone was trying to rip me out of my body.
Yeah.
I'm standing there and I feel like I got pulled forward, like something just yanked on me.
Wow.
But I know like there's people in there. I know I'm not acting crazy. I know I'm not like doing that really. So I'm like, take a deep breath. So I go back, I sit down, the first comic's on, stuff's going on, and I can't even pay attention.
And you didn't do any drug before this?
No.
How many days? This is like 7 days?
8 days. This is the 8th day.
Okay.
8th day. I'm sitting there. I'm getting an iced tea and a pretzel when I'm at the comedy club. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing anything.
Because you're there in like a professional. Is this?
No, this is me just going.
Okay,
to
you're just
see
going
a
to. Okay,
comedian.
okay.
Yeah. I can't pay attention to what's going on there because I'm like my
Yeah.
heart's racing, stuff going on through my head. Happens
Just trying
again.
to survive.
Yeah.
What are you
happens
thinking
again while I'm
about?
sitting down? I'm thinking that's trying to pull me back into the realm because it's the same feeling that I felt when I was like coming out of it. That same feeling like you're falling into nothing, like just like you're gonna fall and spin into nothing.
Wow.
Was this the
Happens
first
again.
time you've been around a large group of people?
Since I did it, yeah.
Yeah, so there's probably somebody in that room that had that entity with them.
And
Yeah.
at a comedy club?
Yeah,
I mean,
at the comedy club.
yeah, I would say that's probably.
So it happens again. The wall, like I'm looking over the crowd, guys, where the sound booth is. I'm
Yeah,
sitting up over there. So that whole wall, same thing, like kind of gets liquidy, and I feel like I'm getting pulled forward again. And then I'm look around, and everybody at the table's laughing. No one's noticing this, and I'm like, dude, what is going on? And it has that same feeling. I'm like, it's pulling me back into that realm. Happens a third time. Really heavy the third time. Same thing. I feel like I'm getting pulled forward. I look around and I'm like, no one's seeing this. So I must not be acting crazy. I was like, something pulling on the inside, something's pulling on my soul. And then I think to myself, I was like, oh my God, if this happens again, it's going to pull me in. Am I going to die? What's going to happen? It's just going to tear it out of me.
Do you think that those are actually your thoughts or are those
Whoa.
intrusive thoughts?
I don't know.
Yeah, because
hold on.
a lot of times that's a demonic thought, trying to make you live in fear.
Yeah.
Maybe. But right after I think that, I hear a voice. And this is where, like, I've only told this story to like one other person,
The
and
voice
not
says,
even the whole
comedy.
thing. No,
Comedy.
yeah, comedy. Definitely Mark Norman. But it sounds like it's outside of my head right here, and it's a female voice, and it just goes, stop. And it sounds echoey, like stop, like with an echo
Yeah.
to it. And then all of a sudden, it all goes away.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. That's
Yep.
pretty cool.
It took a little while, for it to go, but I felt immediately when that voice said stop, it was like, I felt my pulse start like slowing down, and I started to feel normal again. And I was just like,
How are you able
Oh
to
my
enjoy a
God.
comedy show after
I
that?
didn't enjoy it at all. I was like, that's the worst performance he's ever put on.
This guy bombed, bro.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so
that was likely an angel, by the way, that stopped.
That's
that.
what I figured on
Yeah.
the end. I heard the stop
That's
because,
interesting.
and I didn't say, God, please stop this. I was just like, oh my God. Like
Yeah.
if that happens again, I'm not gonna, it's not gonna.
I heard a woman's voice audibly once when I was a kid.
Even when I just told that, I feel more calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was younger, my aunt who was
Mm-hmm.
schizophrenic, later on she was like diagnosed schizophrenic. Now I know she was just, and she's being plagued by demons. But she gave me an odd request when I was a kid. I was like 4 or 5 tops. I think I was 4. She told me to go get the silverware drawer for her for whatever reason, which is just an odd request for a child. She was sick on the couch, so I went and got it for her, and I like struggling to pull this whole drawer out. And as I'm walking back down the hallway with it, all of a sudden I hear a woman's voice. And I remember as a kid, like I identified this as, the woman who said it wasn't there, but I heard it like inside my head. And she said, you're going to drop it. And then all of a sudden my whole reality went like, boom, and shit kind of twisted. And my hands just gave out, and I dropped this whole silverware drawer, and the sound that it made when it hit the ground, like startled me up again. But like the house that I was in was a weird house. It was like one of the earliest houses on Rawway Avenue in Elizabeth, New Jersey, which is like early.
Mm-hmm.
And my aunt, who is schizophrenic, she used to tell me she could smell the devil like years after this happened. She wasn't diagnosed at this point. So there's so many weird spiritual contributing factors to this. And then, of course, whatever my grandmother was into, but I heard, that was the only time in my entire life I heard a woman's voice. She sounded kind of nice. She sounded like she didn't have how do I say this? She didn't have an emotion about the situation. She wasn't like urgent, like he's going to drop it. She was just stating it like it was a fact. And like she was observing me, and she went, you're going to drop it. Either that or he's going to drop it. Now, for the first time in my life, I'm having trouble remembering that. And yeah, it was like, went into a spiral.
Yeah.
And there was even like almost like a sound associated, like, boom, like things were powering down, and I dropped this. But yeah, I just a woman's voice.
But sound and frequency, that stuff is huge. I think like that, whatever that third bowl was, an interesting thing on that too. I can always find that 528 frequency music that I was listening to, I can't ever find the one with the bowls.
It almost makes you wonder if that bowl happened and
I could never find it again. I was like, I got to find it. I could never find the same one again on YouTube and stuff.
That's interesting.
But I'm not done yet. I'm almost done. So that's finished. I go home feeling a lot better. Like maybe another week goes by.
Oh, by the way, I think Qui-Gon is right. I think she did say he's going to drop it. Yeah, I've told this story before. Thank you, brother. Yeah, he's going to drop it. Like she was observing me. Yeah.
Going like a week later, get a call from school. My son's been going in to the bathroom. They have bathrooms in the classrooms of their thing, and just like going in there for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
How old is he at this time?
10. 9, 10. I'm asking him, what's wrong? He's like, nothing, whatever. And he's just like, long story short, I got, down to the bottom of it. He's doing this a couple of times. I'm like, buddy, what's going on? And he says, I feel nervous. And he's like, I got this voice in me telling me to like throw my books at the teacher, like just to freak out in class. Wow. He's like, he's like, when you're telling me stuff, I've got this voice in my head just telling me to like hurt you or hurt this or hurt that. Wow. To the point where we talked to the pediatrician and she was like, oh, all kids go through that, whatever, like that.
We did useless people.
No. Yeah. But
useless people.
Some, it happened. It lasted for like a week with him. We did a lot of praying and stuff like that. That's what started pushing me that way. And he's fine now. He's got, things awesome. on. I've done the Psalm 23 test on him a couple times, and then we're all cool.
And he's not freaking out. He's not writhing
around. He's not like doing that stuff. So I feel confident in
that's
that
great though, because as soon as you start to believe like there's a fundamental mechanism within you that's broken, you're broken, you're powerless, you have no agency, there's something wrong with you. Yeah, exactly.
But he was praying at night. He started doing it before he goes to sleep. He says a prayer.
Good move.
He says he feels so much better.
Good.
And stuff like that. But another thing I wanted to go back to just real quick is like I used to be real into like the David Lynch stuff and Twin Peaks.
Oh, before you do that, what t-shirt were you wearing? You said
yeah.
That's right.
Tenacious D t-shirt.
Really?
I saw them back in like 90.
I used to love Tenacious
99 in Minneapolis. I was just there and I bought a shirt and on the front it said Cleveland Steamers, which, it's funny. Someone taking a crap on your chest. I'm like, oh, I'll wear this to Mark Norman. Maybe he'll see it afterwards and think it's funny like that. The back of it says Tenacious D 666. It's like a baseball shirt. I didn't even think about it when I put it on. I was like, oh, this is a funny shirt. Boom, put it on. I knew that shirt was there. I never wore it because I was like, oh, I don't want to just walk around with 666.
Yeah, but that night,
I just did it without even thinking.
That's interesting. Yeah, Tenacious D is obviously demonic, but as a LARP, or it seems like as a caricature of the demonic. But then it's like, at what point does that line get blurred? You know what I mean?
That is the demon. The demons are funny, by the way. They're pretty hilarious, actually.
It really kills me for comedy.
But the Twin Peaks thing was like, there's if you watch the Fire Walk with Me one, before the main character, the Laura Palmer, does the thing that actually gets her killed and everything like that. She's looking at this picture and she's like, in the end, the angels couldn't help you because they all went away, and then the angel disappears off the picture before she goes and does this thing. But I think it's like, I don't know, you probably have more of a line on this with me. Like when you choose to do something like, okay, I'm going to do this now, they just back off and they're like, okay, you're on your own now. You've made the choice to do it.
That's interesting.
The angels they'll usually give you like a little nudge to stop you. The Lord allows them to give you like a little nudge to give you a heads up and stop you. But then at a certain point, they kind of just like, if you're going to do it, that's your choice. But, and then the same thing. And then when it comes to suicide, a lot of times it ain't you doing it though.
Yeah.
Like that's not like I would wager to bet that not a single suicide was done by a human being. It is done entirely by demons possessing the person to do that to themselves.
Well, couldn't it be that because I've
they
said
regret
before
it every time.
Oh yeah. Like as soon as they go,
and then it's like, whoa. And some people have had some other kind of death happen. It's once that spirit of death is satisfied or exposed or shown, then the ideas go away.
That's
like
interesting.
You can't drown yourself very easily. Like it's very difficult. Like if you try to willingly put your face in the water and try to drown yourself, your body will naturally project and save itself. So it's like you can't do that. That's why they have to do systems of like doing things like that has a reactionary response, or laying in a train track or something. It's got to have a reactionary response because you can't do that.
That's interesting. Like I've heard people who have said they pulled the trigger and then it jammed or whatever, but then it was satisfied.
Like, has anybody ever killed themselves by holding their breath?
Yeah, I don't
Right.
Technically, you could.
You could, I get. Well,
Not
I
very
don't know.
easily.
You
I'm
Didn't you
sure
guys
there's
just
probably-
say a story recently where the guy he was going to kill himself out in the desert and he heard the crow and he shot at the crow and then after he shot the crow it like woke him up.
Yeah, it was
That's
that
my
Jeff's
sense.
bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and like I know somebody that literally the bullet, the thing that stopped. I was literally, one of my friends called me at like, I forget what time it was. It was like 2 a.m. He was like, hey, he's like, this is really serious. My dad just called me with a gun pointed to his head. And he was like, and he was telling me he was going to kill himself. And I was like, bro, let's just pray right now. So we started praying. Crazy story. Started praying. And I could hear in the spirit the angels go. And I'm like, angels just went. Don't even worry about it. I was like, your dad's not going to kill himself. He's like, really? And I'm super serious. He's fine. I'm like, I just heard the angels go, like in the spirit. We sent them. I was like, Lord, I send the angels to stop whatever is going to happen.
It's interesting.
Bro, the next day I go there and he's out of town, but his dad lives in the same town I was in. So I'm like, hey, I'll go and visit your dad. I've never met him before. Well, I think I've seen him once in passing, so he knows who I am. But I'm just like, I'll go over there. So he gives me his address. I show up at the door. He doesn't answer the door. The car's there. And I'm like, oh, shoot. And I'm like, Lord, like I told my friend not to worry about this. Please don't have him be dead.
Right.
Like, I'm like thinking his dad, he's like, my dad's not answering his phone, nothing. And I'm just like, so that's why I went over there. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, should I get there? Finally, he like opens the door and he sees me and he's like, he knows who I am. So he's like, oh, you? Oh, heck no. Like, I was like, no. I was like, you're going to talk to me. What's going on? And I'm like, and he was like, he's like, I don't even know, man. He's like, I don't even know. And I'm like, well, your son told me that you had it pointed at your head last night when you called. And he goes, yeah. And as soon as I got off the phone, I called my girlfriend and I put the gun in my mouth and I pulled the trigger and the gun jammed. And he goes, I don't even know. He said, I reloaded the bullet and I tried to do it again and it jammed a second time.
Wow.
And he was like, bro, we realized he had called the moment we were praying because he called me to tell me to pray. And so we start praying the same exact moment he gets off the phone. He called his girlfriend to murder himself in front of on the camera.
Oh my God.
Bro, the angels stop bullets, bro. Like I have an angel that literally
But I've
stops
heard
bullets.
that. I mean, you know how many times you hear that story? I attempted it and then some jamming or this thing broke or this didn't work. It was like whatever the modality was going to be malfunctions some way or
Twice,
another.
yeah.
Twice is. Nancy says he needs to clean his better. Unbelievable.
Oh my
Nancy.
God,
Well, look, you have to
Nancy.
take care of your
Yes.
firearms.
That Nancy was sweet. What is this?
Oh,
She's a monster.
She's a dark passenger.
She's a dark passenger. She's a skinwalker.
Yeah, and then when I was talking to Matt of the Standard Coffee Shop, we were talking about the Charlie Kirk thing, and he was like, "Man, there must be some principalities in Utah talking about the Mormonism and things like that to allow this."
No, well, you know, I mean, like the thing is this, guys, like a lot of times God protects us when you are in right standing. Okay. The Lord will protect you. And a lot of times in your ignorance. Okay. And then sometimes God lets things happen when we are out of alignment with the Lord. Okay. And so not to say that Charlie Kirk wasn't out of alignment doesn't mean he's going to hell, but like Charlie Kirk knew, and I don't think he was fully coming to truth about what he knew. Like, I think he was sitting there contemplating at a high stakes game playing, going like, well, you know, how do I present it to the people? I can't just come out and say it. Like, I'll lose my funding, I'll lose my stuff, I'll lose my whatever. So he wasn't in that space necessarily. So, I mean, when you're out of the space, like where the Lord has told you to be, like Charlie Kirk should have spoke up faster that Israel's is. So he should have said it. He should have came straight out and said, dude, guys, I've been wrong this whole time, but there's his pride that's stopping him from saying it. There's his funding. There's his security. There's all this stuff.
Fear. It's all fear. Fear.
And when you're operating in a spirit of fear, God sometimes, like, he can take his hand off and he's like, look, you're spouting things that are untrue. You know this is wrong, Charlie. You know this is wrong. I've warned you, and you didn't come out and say it. God's hand isn't always going to protect us when we're walking outside of the realm of righteousness. Or maybe the Lord knew that he would be all right, and he knew that his death would be significant. But I mean, God doesn't usually like allow these kind of things to happen unless there's something. That's why it was everybody felt it in the spirit, because something wasn't right.
It was
something
heavy.
wasn't right.
But I've gotten to this place now where it looks like mostly things can be boiled down to two choices, whatever free will that we have, right? We can be warned up until a certain point, and then ultimately it's our decision to make. And the decision is almost always faith or fear. You can either have faith in God, right? Lean on God. It's beyond your understanding. Or you can be gripped with fear about any number of things. And if you choose the thing that fear has you choose, it, turns out it's the wrong path every single time. Every single time.
Man, I gotta have some sympathy though for these people, because even in the Bible, you have Peter and Jesus is like, come walk to me. And he does, but just in your nature, in your condition, your human condition, even while you're looking at Jesus Christ, you still fall.
Yeah, your flesh is like, nah, dude.
I'm not making an excuse for people, but I'm just saying, like, that's a reality of what we are. Talking to myself, other people that are listening as well.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, I went through that deliverance session with Laura Baker because I was too afraid to do what I was pretty sure God was putting on my heart to do, which was drive to this guy's house. Like I was told pretty explicitly. And then I was shown I had like these sort of waking visions of doing it. Then I had confirmation because as I was telling my wife that I was being compelled to do this, all of a sudden he pulled up at the light across from us. And it was like so obvious. And one thing just led to another. And no matter how many times I felt almost like actioned to, like I should drive now.
Well, I kind of I kind of argued with you, like, are you sure you want to do that?
Well, I mean, it's not, but I mean, it's ultimately like I knew. When we listen to TopLobsta or listen to God, you know what I mean? Like, so instead, I allowed whatever you said and whatever I thought and whatever circumstances were happening to kind of wean me off of that idea, even though I felt in my spirit that was wrong. And I began to pay a price for that and it did not stop until I repented for disobedience.
We try to logic away things of the spirit.
Oh,
I'm going to tell you right now, logic and spirit are at odds to one another. Okay. Like they don't line up like you think. Okay. Yeah. The spirit does have a logic to it, but it's not what you think. Logic and spirit almost always are like opposing. They're like one another. And so you have to learn to shut that. Yeah. That logic side is just your pride half the time. You think it's logic. You think it's, oh, I know. No, it's your pride. Yeah. Just shut up and do what your spirit's telling you. Shut up on what's in your heart. Stop trying to justify. Stop trying to. That'll just lead you into darker places.
Or enjoy the consequences.
Yeah,
because they're going to be there.
Last two things that happened after that, as I had 2 OBEs after that. I think just because I was all opened up after that, and I just had one where I was
sleep. Were you sleeping?
I was sleeping, and then I was like walking in my kitchen, which I can see my bed where I lay down from where I was standing in the kitchen. And then like I realized it, and then I was like sat up in bed, and as I was going, like I felt like I snapped back into myself.
Did you feel like the weight of like hitting your body?
And then the second time I was walking in my hallway in my house, and I was trying all the light switches, and they weren't. I was like,
hey, and they weren't working.
This work, and I was like, hey, in the Robert Monroe book, none of the switches worked like that, and then I was like, I'm in, and I just kind of realized it, and then at the same time, I felt that falling forward, the same feeling like I felt in the club, and I was like, and then I was like, smack back in my body and shot up.
Man, not a good state to be in. It seems like you're just not as tethered to your physical body.
No. People can get lost from their body.
Yes,
too.
Yeah, not well, that's the thing. When you're stripped of your spiritual understanding, and then you end up in a spiritual realm, it's very hard to understand how to navigate it. And that is a lot of what we're suffering from. And I'm not saying that you should understand how to navigate it, but I mean, speaking of navigating, I know that whatever project it was having remote viewers map out, or astral travelers map out the astral realm. So there's, it's a place you can go, but we lack the map, and we lack the grounding in Jesus Christ, which, I don't think you should be astral projecting whatsoever, but if you're not grounded in the Lord,
absolutely don't even attempt it. Because the thing is, this is why the Christians will tell you like, don't do astral projection. Like if you don't understand how the spiritual world works, like if the Lord takes me into the astral realm and I go there for some reason, I'm pretty sure I'll be fine. I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure I'll be fine. Because I understand how to speak to demons.
Yeah.
I understand the authority, but if you don't even understand that, good luck. Good luck walking into a place unprotected, unaware.
Yeah.
Good luck walking into that. Good luck. They will you. They're entities that destroy people.
Alligator men.
Alligator
Men. Yeah.
Full circle.
We talked to what's his name of Forbidden Knowledge News, and his girlfriend was a giant lizard. You know, so, and I'm sure she'd have done some. Look, we have to bring it in for a landing. Unfortunately, I have a thing that I wasn't sure if it was on. It's still on. So I have to get to. I have to go take pictures with my family.
Very vain of you.
Well, it's a nice somebody from the church wants to get together, wants to take pictures, wants to capture my spirit in a little box or however.
Very cool. Emulated and put in their house. Probably.
That's right, and torture it,
pictures on it
like a homunculus.
Sounds like a good idea.
Guys, this was really cool. I'm so glad that we could do this. I'm glad that we finally got it done, Al. I'm glad that we got it done in person too.
I think it was a lot. I mean, obviously there's so much. People were in the chat were saying NDS in person is way
infinitely
cooler.
Better it is.
I agree.
I agree.
It's
we got to figure out how to do it more often.
We got to figure out how to get somebody to man this, because I'm like, I wish I was more entrenched in the conversation, but I'm trying.
We need to make.
Well, we need.
Hope I did a good job.
Another Nancy, like we were talking about before, and you put the call out. Maybe somebody in West Florida area who's like got some editing skills or wants to be a producer.
But then we have to like them.
Yeah, that's a big thing. They got to jump through some hoops.
That's a tall order. We like Nancy. If we could just we tolerate Nancy. Yeah.
Look at Brian's like, yeah, me too.
I like it.
Nancy, what do you think about all that, Nancy?
About what?
See what I mean?
There we go.
All right, thank you, Nancy. That's enough from you.
Well, all right. So before we get out of here, Brian, where can everybody find your work?
Demon Erasers. DemonErasers.com.
No, there you go.
You know, Instagram.
Little Vanna White.
Find me on TikTok, Instagram, and I will now be posting stuff to Rumble. And YouTube. Also, YouTube, I talk about a lot of the stuff about the Nephilim and the understanding of it and the genetics. And there's this crazy series, my Ancient Angel podcast, that I do every Saturday. It's really cool.
That's one you might want to check out. Ancient Angels.
You do that with JT, right?
Yeah, me and JT.
That one's better than Ancient Aliens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ancient Aliens is. That's right. And Al, your stuff is not. We can't send anywhere.
Watch
anybody.
HGTV. You'll see my work there. But,
there you go.
No, if you want to
house,
maybe do some producing or some light edit work, you know, Instagram is like at Trainwreck Entertainment. It's Trainwreck_ENT.
There you go.
It's there, or just Trainwreck Entertainment or Trainwreck ENT at iCloud.com.
Perfect. All right.
Love it.
Top, get us out of here, man.
Guys, it's been a wonderful week, wonderful weekend. Brian, thank you for coming. I know it's crazy to get him here, but I'm so glad that he came down.
And we squeezed him for all the content he was worth.
He's tired.
He's tired
of it.
No, I'm glad he was here too, because I didn't expect that at all. And you guys asked me last night, and I just listened to the one with you and Marziski. I was like, I'm so happy he's gonna be there.
This made one of my favorite episodes. This is a great episode, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be a banger. Something big. Something about numerology and the serial.
Are you guys having fun?
Oh, good question. Hold on. Yeah, fun.
Everybody having fun, dude.
Okay, perfect. Guys, obey, submit, and comply. This is the easy one. Goodbye.
The greatest hypnotist on planet Earth is a oblong box in the corner of the room. It is constantly telling us what to believe is real.
You can persuade them that what they see with their eyes is what there is to see. You can't.